witnesses? Those troopers right there are not witnesses.
None of them are testifying?
Yeah, if you have them, that's fine.
Are they on the New Hampshire 9 case?
Oh, do you mean the other defendants?
The other one? No,
No.
are they,
I don't know.
are they witnesses in the other case that you sent me?
No, none of these folks are.
All right, well, I'm gonna get them to identify.
Guys are gonna be coming in, just make sure your cell phones are silent, please. We're having a conversation, they were taking out the hallway.
Sorry, so you are on one.
Last table.
And then who are you?
Questions? Yes, Phil?
Farmer. Frost, that one's nice. Malaway. I don't know if you guys are on either of those cases. And you are?
Oh, look, it's the governor's secretary.
Do you work for the state?
No, lied about me.
And
No, real false reports about me. On my charges, no opposed. Oh my gosh. Wow.
This lady right behind me in this row. This one back row. Right here. Short hair. She was at the governor's office. She had a hard time with me filming her in public.
All right, good afternoon. Please be seated. All right, these are the cases in the state of New Hampshire versus Orange State. Case numbers 429-2021 CR 3652 and 429-2022 CR 254. Would everyone please participating in this hearing identify themselves for the record?
Hello, Attorney Charles O'Leary, representing the state of New Hampshire.
James Check also to the state of Michigan. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Mr. Staples?
Sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Staples. Could I beg you to come forward, please?
No, I'll stay right here. Thank you.
Any objection to the defendant being behind the bar?
I know.
I've never passed the bar. I'm not a member of the bar, so I'm not gonna pass the bar, to be honest.
Well, you're
Right,
you're
I
a
get
defendant.
you. I don't, yeah, the gold rings and everything, I'm not gonna consent. You can do it from here. So you guys, however you wanna do it, you wanna try and drag me behind the bar? Good luck.
Just as long as the defendant is cautioned that he can't be receiving help from outside sources unless they're potential interference in this matter, I don't have protection.
Okay. All right, so we'll indulge your desire to not come forward, so you can go from there. I do want to address, before we get started, the issue of recording and broadcasting this hearing. The court's received two requests pursuant to the court's rule on advance notice about
This rule.
audio and video recording. And so I'm approving these two. So I just need, and unfortunately, where it says name, it says anonymous.
No.
So I actually don't know who has made the request.
I
Ma'am?
mean, people, we have a right
It says red
to record,
1776.
okay? Everyone has a right to
That's my
record.
name.
I don't know if you wanna go down that road today. We've done this in many other courts.
Sir,
I'm just saying.
sir,
People have a right to record without permission. We're all recording, okay? You can't stop people from recording.
two people can record because they filled out
That's me.
the prior notice. Ma'am, you filled out a prior notice?
Yes, and I wrote my name, red 1776.
That's fine. So you're authorized.
And I've been filming this stuff since the
Can
beginning.
I just want to make sure that I get this clear, is that we don't actually have to fill out a form of just notify, right? So I'm notifying you that I'm recording?
No, you have to fill out.
All right, I'm the one that said anonymous then.
Okay, so you wrote anonymous, you can record, sir. Sir, did you submit a form?
Yeah, in like 2012 or 2013, would you like to see it?
No, that's not gonna be sufficient.
We're not gonna authorize you. The Supreme Court says.
The Supreme Court says it's okay. The one whose rule you're trying to use, or order, it's actually an order. And you should look up Supreme Court Rule 19 real quick, okay? Because that says we have permission, we're allowed to film, okay? We don't need to ask permission. You can't keep us. This is a First Amendment right, man. It's protected activity.
It also cannot be denied. It's
Right, it can't be denied.
I'm
Okay?
not addressing you, sir.
You're addressing everybody.
you
who's
did
trying to
you did
record.
you did though.
Let's go. Let's get this clown show started.
It's not a permission slip. It's a notification.
Bootlickers. Fuck around and find out. Shit. No fucking victim.
Language, watch this.
What?
Watch the language.
I don't watch my language.
So,
I say whatever I fucking say.
Uh-oh. Doesn't say anywhere in here, guys. It doesn't say anywhere in here that I have to give my name or anything.
I'm going to permit you to record, as you've indicated that you're a registered member of the media. So I have two pre-authorizations from people who wanted to record. That was you, sir, and you, ma'am. And so you three people are authorized to proceed.
Oh, thanks. We didn't need permission.
I don't need authorization.
All right, we ready to proceed?
I'm ready to proceed.
I'm not ready to proceed.
I would ask with respect to any witnesses, I expect to call Lieutenant Paul, sorry, as my first witness. I would agree, and I would submit to the court that the defendant should agree, any witnesses who are going to testify should be sequestered unless they're in the court to testify. So I'm going to call Lieutenant Paul, sorry, any other witnesses for the state will be outside. And I don't know that I haven't received any information from the defendant about who he intends to call as a witness. What I'm just indicating is if you intend to call witnesses during your case, anyone you intend to call has to be outside of the court until they come in to testify.
Sure.
Okay? Fine.
So yeah, whoever, you're not a witness for the thing, you're just a witness for when I showed up. And then now they're trying to like resurrect this thing from the dead and change it this whole way and railroad me. Not gonna happen. So, you were at the were you?
No.
So he was actually he was there. Is anybody else at the, when I called them bootlickers? You were there? Would you be a witness possibly if necessary? And you weren't there. So yeah, if you guys could step out, please, that'd be great. I think I'm gonna be seeking a continuance here anyways. I mean, this guy, I got this in the mail yesterday, I got this yesterday. So you think I'm ready to go to trial now that you just threw a whole nother multiple elements in here? So are you cool with the continuance so I can research this?
I'm prepared to go forward on the case with regard to the 1013 matter, and I think nothing has changed on that. That's been the same.
What do you mean? You're amending
That
the bail.
That has to do with the legislative
All right,
office.
gentlemen.
Wait, but this is the legislative office building.
No.
What is this?
This is
All right, so just
governor's
as a
house.
first, as a
No,
first
no,
matter.
No.
Right.
As a first
No,
matter.
No.
This is not the governor's house.
I'm issuing a sequester order, so that means that any witness who is going to be allowed to testify in this trial must exit the courtroom and not be present for anyone else's testimony, and shall not discuss any of the testimony that they hear in the courtroom with the witness during the proceeding. Is that understood? Do you understand, Attorney O'Leary?
Yeah, I do.
Mr. Staples, do you understand? Mr. Staples?
Is she witness? Get out. No, sir, this paperwork that I have says,
Mr.
I'm here.
Staples, we're addressing the sequestration.
Yes. What are you talking about? I said everybody should be sequestered, but we're trying to figure out what this is about. We don't know who to sequester. There's two things that you guys are trying to talk about. You're saying I'm here for something when I'm thinking I'm here for something else.
Mr. Staples, I just want to make clear that I'm not going to allow anyone to testify who you call, who might be present in the courtroom during the presence of anyone else's testimony.
Right, and so what is going on here? Because
So-
I thought this was the disorderly conduct legislative office building thing. That's what I have on this paperwork here.
So as a preliminary matter, Attorney O'Leary, you filed a motion to amend the complaint in case number 429-2022 CR 254.
Right, that, I would call it the second case, it's the second time case from November 19th. I have filed that, I've sent a copy to the defendant, I also filed a motion to amend in the court. But it's my intent, in terms of my witnesses, it's my intent to go forward on the matter that deals with the legislative office building, the police standards and training, because it's already time, it's October 13th, and I have my witnesses here, and we're ready to proceed.
I'm not.
No.
So,
You don't intend to go forward on, you're asking for.
he's pulling the rug out
Yeah.
on the one thing.
254.
I don't fucking think so.
I intend to go forward on the 10/13/2021 disruptions, disorderly conduct charges at the police standards and training.
Right.
And I have all my witnesses here.
429-2021 CR 3652.
Correct, correct.
What about the other document?
My understanding based upon my witnesses and the amount of time is we won't even probably won't even get through that. But I'm prepared to go forward and I have my witnesses for the first time case and I'm ready to go forward with that. And then we start with Lieutenant Baldassare. I expect that I have 5 witnesses on the case.
So I still haven't even gotten the discovery from these guys. Remember when I asked you to mail it to me? You never mailed me the discovery.
I've said this.
When?
Counsel before, we said all.
The council was never my counsel. They were standby counsel, and this is the other thing. I was prepared to try to get this legislative office building thing dismissed on procedural grounds, okay? Because I was here already, and I have witnesses there that were here with me for that incident that I'm here for today, this is what I'm saying, I was supposed to be here today for that.
Mr. Staples?
So,
Are you making a motion to dismiss?
yes,
Okay, what are the grounds of your motion to dismiss?
because they slid in this new charge after I was here. This is the original charge. Disorderly conduct, breach of bail. I was here on 1/14 for this hearing. And then the state wasn't here. I sat here all day and the clerk signed this and she said, the defendants weren't filed. The charges weren't filed, nothing was filed. And then I was here on a completely different matter, months later being represented, or I was supposed to be standby counsel, and these guys are giving the information to the lawyers that aren't even representing me. They're standby counsel. They're not sending anything to me directly. And these lawyers haven't been sending anything to any of the other clients directly either, for that matter. So, my point is, I'm not prepared to go to trial today. I don't know if you know that I also have head trauma. I get confused easily. And, I mean, this dude can't just keep changing the shit. What if I wasn't here that day? I would have been found guilty. So then, 3 months later, April 14th, they file new charges, and they completely change the facts. You can't amend facts on a complaint. I was arrested for calling these bootlickers bootlickers. And then I said, fuck around and find out. Okay? And then they changed the original charge from me being charged for bootlickers, calling them bootlickers, to I said, fuck around and find out. So how are you going to say now that I was arrested before I said fuck around and find out, but now you want to charge me for that? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Why am I not getting arrested right now?
Mr. Staples,
This is a joke.
let me just kindly ask you to lower your voice. I can hear you.
I told you I have head trauma. And when I get excited, I lose control of the volume of my voice. You want to go research it? I can't help it. Okay, when I get excited.
All right.
And I feel like I'm outnumbered and threatened by these people. I don't know why all these extras are here.
All right, so just do
They got guns? You guys got guns?
Just
Do you have guns on? Get out. Can you guys get these out for trying to intimidate
Get out.
people with guns on in here? They're not even here for any real reason.
And the witness. And the witness.
And the witness, get this dude out of here.
Can I hear from?
I don't know, he don't care.
Sir, you've made a motion to dismiss. I'd like to be able to hear from the state what their position is. Attorney Alvarez?
Your Honor, with respect to, I think he's talking about the second case, as I understand what he's saying. With respect to the second case, what I did indicate is, my understanding is there was an arraignment back in January, when that arraignment was scheduled, because we had just converted into the DAY1 system. I think complaints were filed, they were filed properly using the DAY1 system, so they didn't proceed that day. The defendant was back later because he had already been arrested and had underlying charges of disorderly conduct from the October 13th event. And when he came in on the date of that hearing, represented by counsel, attorneys Stans and Jens, we refiled the complaints alleging the disorderly conduct and the breach of bail. So those were properly filed, they were properly served on him, and I believe they're properly before the court. With respect to the breach of bail charge, I recently filed a motion to amend that, indicating language that alleged that he was in fact breaching his bail by being at the legislative office building, which violated Judge Spatz's original order, which was a follow-up order to the bail commissioner's order named Susan Songbush, who ordered him to stay away from 1,000 feet away from the governor, the executive council, or any place where they may be. And it's our contention that he did that. So in any event, based upon that motion, I have asked the court to amend that because I believe, based upon case law, we are allowed to do that. I gave him notice of that. It is my expectation, if he wants to address that, that would be something we would address next Friday, because that's what I anticipate. If we were able to get started today, we would then be able to go forward with the second case next Friday. So my answer is that I think we can follow proper court procedure with respect to serving him, with giving him notice of what he's being charged with, and giving him an opportunity to be heard.
What about Mr. Staples' argument that this matter should be dismissed because he doesn't have discovery?
Rule 4.
My understanding is he has the discovery. We sent all the discovery to Attorney Jens and to Attorney.
They were never hired to represent me on this case.
They
They were only representing me, hold on. Were they representing me in this matter?
Please stop. Please, I'm hearing from Attorney Alvarez.
Yeah,
I'll give you a chance to respond.
it was my understanding that they were counsel. At some point later on, during one of the later hearings that we had in front of Judge McIntyre, he indicated he didn't want them as counsel anymore, and he was essentially firing them. He was going to proceed on his own. But the discovery was provided, it's my understanding. All of the discovery was provided to him, so we would have it through them. If he doesn't have it, and we're scheduled for that next week, I will remake him all the stuff. I'll put the stuff out of my file and give it to him. He can take it, and I can get copies for him.
New stuff too, because I know
I
there's
don't-
new stuff.
I don't have any problem with that. My understanding is he had all the discovery because it was sent out.
There's been new stuff too that's been sent to them that I have not got since, okay? So, and, hold on, Jens and Stanton were hired to represent the group at the executive council, not the legislative office building thing. That was just me. And I was up there standing side by side with the lawyers, and we have it all on video, and everybody here knows I was representing myself that whole time, but these guys wanted to make it look like they were doing the right thing and giving this stuff to the lawyers, and no, we want them to be representing him because that's how they slid it in the back end. Not gonna happen. Rule 4 anyways, the initial proceedings, the copy of the complaint has to be given to me at that hearing. They never gave me a copy of that. So that's a violation. It says shall be provided with a copy of the complaint on that day of the initial proceedings. When I was here, I never got one. Never got a copy of the complaint. Now they've been trying to change it and morph it from that I said bootlickers to I said fuck around and find out, which is a completely different fact after I was already being arrested.
All right. Mr.
Okay? So they can't amend facts in a complaint.
Mr. Staples,
So I also tried to object to them amending those facts, but they also slid that in with that other judge and those lawyers that weren't even representing me. Do you see why I'm so upset right now?
Mr. Staples, Attorney Bradford Stanton filed a full appearance in connection with this case.
I don't know why. I never hired him for it. So he can't file on something that I never signed. Get the fuck out of here. I never signed for him to come and represent me. That shit is bullshit. No way. No fucking way. No fucking how. I need discovery. We need to have a continuance.
You were a different judge. I was here and you
Completely.
said he wasn't represented by that person.
I've always said this
I'll
whole time.
I'll be witness.
You're new to the judge. She had to recuse herself. Why? After all this fucked up dirty shit happens in the court record, and they're allowed to slide this thing in completely different that these lawyers were never hired to represent me on. We were running out of money for the other shit. That's why I backed out and represent myself. All right? So, my mouth is really dry.
As I said before, I represented the court, my understanding was, it was certainly my understanding based upon having those lawyers.
Of course, it's your benefit.
I will agree with Mr. Staples that at some point in time in a later hearing, he indicated his displeasure with that, and he didn't want them to represent him. Whether
First, from not
it's
to
some other issue, I don't know, I wasn't privy to the discussions. All I'm indicating is that we provided the discovery, and as far as us sending additional information to Attorney Jensen Stanton, since that had to do with scheduling matters, based upon an order from the court about setting up times and possible dates for when we would have trials on the other matters. And I believe I can actually have my co-counsel, because I think he was the one who spoke with and had emails back and forth, and then ultimately filed some documentation to the court. So I think if he's referencing there's been paperwork that has gone to that counsel since he separated himself from that, I think that that's accurate. But I'm telling you what I understand it to be is not additional discovery material, but information in response to a court order.
And we know
Schedule.
judgment is suspect. So, we
Mr.
don't know
Staples,
that for sure.
Mr.
I don't know
Staples,
that
you
for sure.
were represented by counsel who filed an appearance. Discovery was provided to that counsel.
No,
That
I
counsel
was never,
never
listen, hold on a second, sir. This is even before all that. I'm trying to get to something before all that.
Mr. Staples, your motion to dismiss and your motion to continue are untimely, so they're denied.
They're untimely, so you're denying because they're untimely?
I'm denying.
I tried to bring this stuff up while these dudes were pretending to fucking represent me. And the whole time in every goddamn hearing, I said, these lawyers are not representing me. These guys aren't representing me. We got it all on video. All
Yep.
these people
I'll witness to
have
that.
seen it.
I'll witness to that one.
Okay? So you're not going to tell me those guys were representing me. And then I don't have access to their freaking digital files that they give to everybody. I was cut out of that at some point as well. Okay? So the point is, for this thing here, Rule 3, the complaint can't be amended. That other judge allowed the amendment, and she didn't allow a hearing on the matter. She just let it go to change the facts on the complaint, the original complaint that I never got, which is what I was charged for saying bootlickers, calling them bootlickers. And then they completely changed the facts. You can't amend facts. So you're going to allow those facts to remain amended by that judge who recused herself? Is that what you're telling me? And then what about Rule 4? Shall be provided. I didn't get that. Is that why? So they can change completely change the charge in the case and the facts?
Mr. Staples, your motion is untimely. You can't show up on the date set for trial and complain that you haven't received discovery when you were represented by counsel in this proceeding and when you had ample
Which one are you talking? Which proceeding? Because there's two proceedings. You guys are trying to make me.
ample opportunity to request discovery from the state of New Hampshire prior to the day's hearing. So if
You don't request discovery.
I asked him in person,
wanted
dude.
discovery, you should have made a request for that. And if it was denied,
I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm not a lawyer. I asked this dude, you remember? I asked you to send me the discovery in the hallway. I have it on video. Yeah. You know I have it on video, so.
I've denied the motion.
Alright, and that was on what matter, the executive council thing? So this is the problem here. I'm very confused as to what I'm even doing here. I don't know.
So, Mr. Staples, we're addressing case number 429, 2021, CR 3652. You're facing 4 Class B misdemeanor charges.
Right.
You committed the.
Those two, I was charged with 2 originally, and now I got 4 of them. So this is the stuff that I'm talking about that I have not gotten. Okay? So if you want to try to force me to proceed with that, I'm going to have to try to say, who was there at the New Hampshire 9 thing? Are you going to try to force me to proceed on this, at least a partial day? I thought I was going to have another day, because I got notified of a half a day on the legislative office building thing, and then I thought the executive council thing was next Friday.
Trial is going to proceed on the case involving conduct alleged to have occurred on October 13th, 2020.
Right, the executive council thing. So that's what I'm saying. I got notification that that is on Friday, next Friday.
I think that the notices, I had a discussion with the clerk, if I might intervene. I
do have
had
those.
notices for both cases, but both days.
This is in the court records.
I called up the clerk.
I did file a timely motion to dismiss. Okay.
Your Honor.
This is on the
Can
court
I be
record.
heard?
Months ago. When is this?
Sir, can I be heard?
January 22nd.
Mr. Staples, please.
Can I be heard? I got the same notices that the defendant apparently got. And what I received from the court, we originally said,
Attorney O'Leary, I have a scheduling notice right in front of me. It lists these charge ID numbers, and it indicates the trial's on March 10th, 2023.
good, okay.
So call your first.
Right here. Sir, hey, take that. I mean, look. This is what I got. Look.
You can present
Send
that.
it.
You can present that.
I'm not going back there. I don't know if that says those 4 charges are March 17th, right here.
It also says it on the other day. Come forward.
I'm not coming forward. I already told you
I
that.
asked you to witness, come forward.
I don't think this is-
Sir, would you raise your right hand?
Why wasn't he sequestered?
Witness is armed.
He hasn't started to offer testimony.
And he's armed.
Any other witnesses who may testify on this matter having to do with the legislative office building need to be sequestered, okay? I don't see anyone else here who are witnesses for the state. Everyone else for the state is outside.
You,
Right
hold
there.
on, because she might be a witness.
Is this regarding November 19th or October 13th?
October 13th.
So whoever was at the New Hampshire, the executive council of the training standards, you were there, right? No, yeah.
October
All right.
13th.
October 13th.
Here's
Regarding
the
October
announcement.
13th.
Yes.
This trial that's going to start right now concerns conduct that is alleged to have taken place on October 13th, 2021 at the Police Standards and Training Facility.
You were there.
Anyone who is in the
I'm a
courtroom
witness. I'm a witness.
for any of this testimony
I don't have notice of this
will
today.
not be allowed to testify in this proceeding.
This says these 4 charges are next Friday, March 17th. This one says day 1 of 2 days, March 10th, on the disorderly conduct and the breach of bail, and then the disorderly conduct and the breach of bail on March 17th again. So, like I said, this shows the 4 disorderly conducts from that day and charge IDs for March 17th. What day is today? The 10th. So we're not going to proceed with this at all. Fuck that shit. March 17th, I'll be back. The other thing's been continued because he wants to change everything, okay? And I'm going to need time to research his whole criminal trespass thing. You're not going to pull the rug out from underneath me and make me do this trial a week early. Hell fucking no.
Mr. Staples, you received a scheduling notice.
Right here.
Indicated that this trial would take place on March 10th.
No, I did not. I have them right here. Can you see them, please? And you'll see.
Want me to bring it to him?
No, ma'am.
How about the
Somebody.
how about the
Clerk, come on, man.
Have a look at it.
Give him these things.
Court
This is
officer.
what I got.
give it to the court
You're
officer?
not gonna tell me that this. No, hell fucking no. I don't care how we gonna do this. It's not going down like that. Not going down like that. I'm not gonna allow it. I have a fucking loud voice, I can hoot and fucking holler all goddamn day. You can put me in contempt, whatever the fuck you want to do. Let's fucking do it. Listen, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna see that I'm right. And I'm scheduled for this shit next fucking Friday. And I'll be back then.
Mr. Staples.
Fuck around and find out. I'll be back then, because we're not doing the legislative office building, right? I have proof. I have proof. You say you have proof, I fucking have my fucking proof.
If you
Okay?
bring it up, then you bring it.
Get fucked. I don't care. I'm out of here. I'm here for the legislative office building thing, because that's what I got in the mail right here. Day 1 of 2.
Mr. Staples, you want me to respond to you.
I don't want you to do shit. I'm gonna walk out, dude. I'm gonna walk the fuck out of here. Because I'm not here for that. I'm dismissing the fucking case. I'm dismissing the case. Oh, let's go forward. Let's just go forward with it. Yeah. Let's go. Keep going. Let's go.
Mr. Staples, I just want to make
No,
clear.
no, no. We're gonna keep going. Just
What's
this is
in
how
the
I'm gonna beat the case.
Is a
You want to
scheduling
force me to
notice-
go to trial today? Go ahead.
It's a scheduling notice that indicates.
Force me to go to trial today.
Day 1 of 2 days will begin on March 10th, 2023.
I don't have that.
In connection with the charge IDs for this case.
No.
So we're gonna proceed with this
You
case.
can go ahead, man.
All right, thank
I'll
you.
get it dismissed. Find me guilty. I don't give a fuck.
Would you raise your right hand? So, do you swear the testimony you're about to offer this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you please state your name? And you spell your last name for our record.
Daniel Balsar, B-A-L-D-A-S-S-A-R.
Mr. Baldessari, do you have a title currently?
Yes,
What is that?
Lieutenant.
And back on October 13, 2021, did you have a title at that time?
Yes,
What was your title?
Staff Sergeant.
And where were you employed, or where were you working at back on October 13, 2021?
For the Division of State Police, Troop D.
Okay. And in terms of, can you give us a little bit of your background and training? When did you become a state trooper? How long have you been working in that capacity?
March 17th.
Yes, I was
March
hired
17th.
by the Division of State Police on October 17th, 2000.
Then March 10th.
Since then, I attended the 100 Police Academy.
515C, 516C.
Since being hired, I've been assigned to several troops.
They're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong.
Troop E, Troop D, as well as major crime.
Disorderly conduct, breach of bail conditions.
2017, I was promoted to rank sergeant. And in 2021, I was promoted to rank of staff sergeant, as well as to the rank of lieutenant. I currently oversee the Troop D barracks as a troop commander.
Thank you. And in terms of October 13, 2021 specifically, you indicated you were a staff sergeant at the Troop D barracks here at Covington.
Correct.
In that position, did you become aware of and requested to do something relative to a governor and executive council meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give us a little background? I mean, had you ever attended a governor and executive council meeting before?
No, I have not.
Had you ever been required in any capacity to provide security for a governor and executive council meeting before October 21st, 2021?
No, I have not.
So, based on your position at Troop D, were you requested to get involved in providing security for a governor and executive council meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and can you give us a little background as to, because it sounds like it would be
Relevance?
reasonable to be there. Is there some reason you went and were tasked to do that?
Hang on.
Relevance?
You have a relevance objection?
Yeah. What's the relevance of this?
I think we're gonna hear testimony as this goes on. There were a number of people at this location, a number of security people there. I
Who's
think
the
we're
victim?
also gonna hear testimony, just as a way of an offer of proof, that was in response to there having been a disturbance or a problem at a governor and executive council meeting exactly 2 weeks earlier at the Institute of Politics in Manchester.
Is this?
This witness is going to address why he was tasked and what he did in regards to that.
Institute of
That
Politics
sounds
in
reasonable.
Manchester.
Your objections are rules.
So based upon getting some sort of contact or information, were you tasked to do something relative to the October 13, 2021 meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and why was it, I mean, where the governor executive council meetings normally occur, if you know?
Typically, they occur in the State House.
Right, in chambers that are designed for that, correct?
Correct.
So was this request to go to another location unusual?
Yes.
And can you tell me, without getting into particular details, had there been an earlier session of the governor executive council down in Goffstown?
Yes. It's the same.
And was it your understanding that based upon how that session either got started or didn't get started, that there were concerns about security going forward?
Correct.
Okay, and so based upon that, did you have some understanding of a task that you needed to do relative to security at the meeting which was going to occur on October 13th?
Yes.
And based upon that, did you coordinate drawing up some plans with other folks to make sure that there was adequate security at that location?
Yes.
Based upon your efforts, were you a point person? What was your role with respect to putting together the plan to provide security at the governor executive council meeting?
I was, for lack of better terms, the OIC of the event. So,
What is OIC? Just
the officer in charge. So
Okay.
people
Thank you.
above and below me, the information kind of ran through me, to kind of be a conduit to both sides.
Okay. And is it fair to say that just from the perspective of sort of regions within the state, that the training facility here in Concord falls within the general area that's covered by Troop D?
That's correct.
Can we, excuse me, my ride, I thought he was gonna be, I have to tell him he can go, because he was sequestered for the legislative office building thing. So can I pause and let him get out of here, skedaddle?
I have no question for that.
I'm sorry, I just realized that. Thank you.
Okay, so.
I don't get why witnesses are allowed to open carry.
May I ask the court security to find out what's taking Mr. Staples?
He wasn't there. He stayed in one. Sorry.
Please proceed.
Thank you. So Sergeant Paul, sorry, after, and first off, in terms of your rank, I know you said you were staff sergeant, was there actually a lieutenant at Troop D on that day?
No.
So is it fair to say that in terms of the barracks at Troop D, you were the highest ranking on site?
Relevance.
Person.
That's correct.
So,
What's the relevance of his rank?
I think he's just trying to establish what the command structure was on the day in question.
What does that have to do with anything?
why are you trying to get it on? Because ultimately, he may be someone who orders people to do certain things at the site. And I want to make it clear that he wasn't.
Attorney O'Leary, I'm overruled.
Thank you, thank you. So, based upon putting together the plan and having the people for security in place, did you have some idea as to what time the meeting was going to occur. Meeting, the governor and council were going to be at the police standards and training.
Yes, it did.
And what time was that?
When it was supposed to start, or?
Yes.
When it arrived?
When they were supposed to start?
10 o'clock.
Okay. And 10 o'clock in the morning?
Correct.
And were there plans made with respect to allowing members of the public to be present and to observe the proceedings?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that the area where this executive council, governor executive council meeting was going to occur would accommodate many more people than would be able to attend from the public if it were at the legislative chamber?
Correct.
False. How many is in the legislative office building, and how many at that were there? It wasn't the same. There's way less people allowed inside.
Mr. Staples.
It's just factually false.
The way
I'm
this
gonna
works
object
is-
to his
Mr. Staples, this is
statement.
direct examination.
That's fine, but I can still correct him and tell you that that is completely patently false.
No, sir.
There's the
you
upper
have to
thing, and
reserve-
there's the whole thing.
You have to reserve.
It's called simple
You
math.
have to reserve your opportunity to inquire to cross-examination.
I'll get to that too. Oh, I know that. We'll get to that part at some point.
Right.
Sure.
But you can't just
But
make
he can't just
spontaneous-
lie his fucking way through this whole goddamn thing, all you guys. You think it's gonna go good? No. This is how it's gonna be. This is how I do things. Fuck around and find out, dude. Nullification of unconstitutional bullshit. 9th and 10th Amendment. Okay? Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Staples.
That's what I'm doing.
To whatever extent you had an objection, it's over.
That's fine.
Please proceed.
Sure. Let's go.
So, Lieutenant Baldessari, with respect to the capacity, was it expected that a number of people within the public at large would be able to attend and observe the proceedings that morning?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, was there some consultation with the fire marshal about exactly what number of people would be allowed into this hall?
Yes, there was.
And with respect to people arriving, do you know what time approximately the governor, Governor Sununu, and the executive council members arrived at the location?
It was around 9:30.
Okay. And at some point in time, when the meeting was due to start at 10, did the governor and executive councilors come out to the location where the meeting was to occur?
Yes.
Okay. Can you, we're going to have some video here to be able to watch, but can you give us a general idea of the location where this meeting was occurring? And then just sort of an idea of where different groups might be within that setting at the time the meeting was due to start.
Yes.
Please tell us first off, where was it at the Police Training and Standard Council building?
So it was held in the tactical center.
Okay, can you describe for the court, I don't know if the judge has been there, so can you describe for the court that location?
It's a large auditorium style, like a gym, off to the side of the academy. It's wide open, flat. There's a stage to the right as you enter. That's where the governor and the council members were, as well as the attorney general's was seated up at the stage as well. In front of the stage, it was blocked off with a road partition for space. We then had 3 sections of seating for the public, left, center, and right row. If you're facing the stage to your left, state employees or any members who are going to testify or speak on at the meeting were seated there in front. Behind them was the press. And the public was in those 3 rows I already described. Off to the right, there was a long table with several members of the state police staff, as well as others, members of state police, standing in different locations of the building, entrances, exits. Behind the row of people, there was a curtain that blocked off part of the tax center, which had other members of staff behind it.
So backup units in case we're not going well.
Correct.
I'm going to ask if I could, I've that's over here, we can hopefully work the video, and then you can have a visual of this location for the course, opportunity to look at. Thanks. Okay, Sergeant Ball, sorry, if you could for a moment, would you mind stepping down, just so you can point at Mr. Staples? Obviously, I want you to be able to watch this, so hopefully from your vantage point there, you can see.
Yeah, it's all up on my channel.
What do you want
We
me
got
to,
all this.
what do you want me to point out? Just in general, you talked about there being 3 separate areas for the public.
Yeah.
Is this 1, 2, 3, for lack of a, over here you described, as you're facing the stage, it would have been to the right, an area that was set up with people, command staff and other folks, mostly state police and security people, correct?
Correct.
And then, not in this picture, but a little bit further over, to this side, Mr. Staples, hopefully you can see that.
Sure.
There's an area where there is people who are going to be recognized to speak at the meeting. state
Lobbyists and
employees,
media people.
and behind them, folks from the press. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's the setup. And in terms of the stage where the governor and the executive council are, and then off to the side where the attorney general and some other people are, is that up essentially in this area?
Right here.
Okay, and is that area elevated?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that from the edge of the stage, there's some area that's open and then it's cordoned off so that essentially the public is behind where this open space is?
Correct.
All right. But is it also fair to say, in looking at this, that in terms of what we were talking about, the fire marshal and the public, that it did allow for a significant number of people to be inside to observe this proceeding?
Yes.
Okay. You may return, might as well just leave it there for now, Sam, so we have it.
Most of it's cordoned off. Such a huge space.
Okay, Lieutenant. So, at some point in time, did the governor and the executive council come out to commence the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall, was there any sort of a general statement made about the conduct at the meeting and what was expected?
Yes.
Okay. And was that directed to the crowd that was there?
Yes.
And with respect to the crowd, at some point in time after the general announcement of the proceedings, did the governor then lead the crowd and the people there in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Maybe we could get that up? Thank you. I'm going to play a clip of that. First off, I don't know, Sam, do you have the initial statement about the conduct and then the second statement with respect to after the Pledge of Allegiance?
Here, the discussions going on between the counselors and the commissioners and the staff of the state of New Hampshire. So we'll just wait for a couple more minutes and get the remaining counselors settled as we go.
Wow, baby.
I just want to be clear, the request is for the Pledge of Allegiance, correct?
Correct.
Other folks in the room can hear the discussions going on, so there isn't interruptions into the meeting. And if we are all please rise, I would have a prayer and a pledge to kick us off. So I'll join in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag Disruption is not going to be tolerated. We want
Disruption.
to stay here.
That was a disruption.
Again.
So this is what we're being arrested for? Yeah.
Well, sorry. At that point, at the end of the resolution, you hear some yelling out cat call.
Yes.
And based upon that, did the governor repeat about the conduct of the meeting and what was expected?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Where's the cat call?
At some
We're still
point
doing our best to
thereafter,
resolve it.
at some point thereafter, was there an instance where, again, voices were raised and there was some concern about disrupting the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall whether there was a lieutenant or, excuse me, a sergeant specifically designated who went over and spoke to Mr. Staples?
Yes, I do recall.
Okay. Again, where's he? Do you know who that sergeant was?
I do.
Who was that?
Sergeant Greg DeLuca.
Okay. And again, because of your role in this, are you the person who would have designated to him to go over and speak to Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall doing that?
Yes.
And do you recall why you asked Sergeant DeLuca to specifically go over and to speak to Mr. Staples? What had you heard or seen that was causing you some concern?
He was making some disruptive remarks during the hearing.
Okay.
What were
And you could hear it yourself. And so the action you took was what?
I believe he said it's a lie.
Okay. And what did you ask Sergeant DeLuca to do based upon hearing him say that?
So let him know not to interrupt the meeting here.
Okay.
Thank you, Governor. I'm out. We're still doing our best to resolve it, but again, they're bringing something up that didn't. So, yes, thank you, Governor. I mean, I'll follow up, but that was absolutely the implication that the Secretary gave.
And I think that'd be important information for our Health and Human Services people to know. I'm disappointed you don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
On what? Again, that is not
Listen to that. Do you know whether or not that admonition by Sergeant DeLuca was also picked up on other footage that was taken by people who were at the location?
I believe it was.
Okay, can we get that?
It is people. So we're gonna accept all these refugees.
That wasn't me.
Basically what they're saying is it's up to the federal government and
I know that
they
wasn't me.
can't do anything. So they are taking away your jobs, taking away your freedoms, but allowing the Afghan people into the state and they can walk free and clear. They don't have to be worried. Right, so
Do you recognize who's in that
state
video?
troopers are coming over to
Speaking
Frank.
to, I think it's the red hat,
Sorry, guys.
red. Can you identify the person who's
Clapping
right
there,
here?
just clapping there.
I got you.
Sort of a lot going on.
What?
Can you repeat? There's sort of a lot going on.
They were threatening Frank that if he doesn't be quiet, that
Can you pause and go back a little bit, a couple of frames back, please? Thank you.
This is crazy.
Right there. Can you just pause it
Yeah.
there?
It's nonsense.
Lieutenant, can you come down?
It's nonsense.
So the court point out who is in this video and who is, or if you can do from there, that's fine.
That's Frank Staples in the red sweatshirt and the red hat, talking to Sergeant Greg Lucan.
Okay, and he's talking to Greg DeLuca, how much time has gone between what you said to Sergeant DeLuca to go over and when Sergeant DeLuca was there, in your estimate?
Less than a minute.
Okay.
Where did you tell him?
And it was in response to you hearing Mr. Staples say what?
That's a lot.
Okay. So you saw that, you've seen this video, this is consistent with your recollection of what happened at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Was he arrested at that point for yelling that?
No.
Okay. At some point in time, coming forward thereafter, was there, after he had received this specific statement or talked to Sergeant DeLuca, was there a general admonition given to the people in attendance based upon their behavior?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall who it was who delivered that admonition or statement?
That was Sergeant Megan Walsh.
Is she also with the state police?
Yes. I'm sure.
And is she also on a Troop D in Concord?
Yes.
Okay. And who directed her to give a general statement to the crowd about their behavior?
That came from me.
Would it come from you? And was it,
Through other channels, but yes, came from me.
all right, and was that based upon, even after this statement to Mr. Staples, there being additional disruptive behavior?
Okay, you got the correct.
Correct, okay. And so,
Hearsay.
Megan,
Hearsay.
that admonition.
Hearsay.
I'm gonna ask that we play, if we could,
Objection.
that admonition.
There's an objection on hearsay grounds,
I mean, why aren't these people here testifying about, why aren't those officers here to testify about it?
They are here, I can call
Okay,
them.
well then,
It's just that.
so why don't we just ask him what he's ordering them to do? And where is he getting his orders as well?
She is here.
Right? Where are you getting your orders, bro?
What's the question?
I think he's making a hearsay objection, and what I.
No, what's your question with it? So the intent.
Did you see Miss Walsh or Sergeant Walsh give that admonition?
Yes.
Is it captured on the video?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to play the video with her announcing to the crowd the admonition and what specific instructions she gave her.
Objection. If we're gonna watch the video, we're gonna watch the whole thing from beginning to end, so you can see the character of the crowd yourself. We can all watch the whole video, because that's the evidence. The whole thing is the evidence. And I'm hoping that Governor Sununu is here, or if not, I would like to see him here next Friday for part 2, because he's the one that gave the initial admonition, which is, I actually don't have the complaints, like I said, that show I should be here next Friday for that. I don't have those 4 complaints, but I do know that they say that basically Chris Sununu is the victim. Chris Sununu admonished us, and then we all, said amen and things like that. Apparently I said it's a lie, but I don't know that. This is the first time I'm hearing that. I was told I clapped and made a loud noise. That's what I was charged with on the complaint that I last saw. But I know that they've been amended. So, can I get a copy of the complaints, these 4 complaints right now, please? Is that possible? The clerk could get that for me?
Mr. Staples, you were arraigned on these charges when you came to court.
With those lawyers who weren't representing me, we don't want to go through that again.
Well, Mr. Staples.
Which is what I'm telling you, these things were amended,
Mr. Staples,
and I didn't get them.
The record indicates that when you came to court, you declined to cooperate with the arraignment process. So if you don't
That's
have
not
copies
true.
of the
What do you
complaints
mean?
right now,
I declined to, when? What date is that? What date does it say that?
your objection's overruled. Please proceed.
And I was here to see that court stuff. I tried to see the clerk today to go through that, so I could have all that, and they said that, no, it's up in the courtroom, you can check it up there, and then you guys just started. So I haven't even been able to see all that. Jesus.
With respect to the admonition from Sergeant Walsh, I'm going to ask that be played if we can.
Objection, did she admonish me, or was it anything that I said? No. So what's the relevance of her admonition to the general admonition to the crowd?
You can explore that on cross-examination.
Okay.
I just want to note for the record that that was unintelligible.
Okay, I think we may have another clip with the same thing, so maybe we can get one. And can you turn the volume up if you wouldn't mind, please?
It's already to the max. They already have it like jacked to the max. That's why you can hear squeaking shoes.
Oh shit. So we're gonna be arrested for disorderly conduct if we disrupt the meeting.
So that was a live stream right behind my shoulder the whole time. So if they have me saying anything, it should be there. Just saying.
So
Right behind the
with respect to
Guardian angel.
Sergeant Walsh, did you hear her give the admonition to the crowd? And specifically, as best you can recall, what did she tell the crowd?
She gave a general warning that any more disruptions would be tolerated, could result in arrest or disorderly conduct.
Okay. And after that occurred, at some time thereafter, was there an incident that was brought to your attention with respect to noise being made and a concern that led to you to give an order to have Mr. Staples and the lady sitting next to him arrested?
Yes.
Okay. And is that also depicted on the video?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall who it was you gave that order to?
It was Sergeant Rico, and it's Rico at the time.
Okay. And do you recall who it was who brought to your attention the fact that there was a problem, that there had been a disruption, and that they were asking what should we do about it?
Yes, it was then a major chapter one.
Okay. And from your vantage point, were you able to specifically see Mr. Staples do whatever it was that Major LaVoy came up to you and asked about?
Not directly.
So you didn't have a direct line of sight on that, but you spoke to Major LaVoy, and based upon what he told you, you then directed Sergeant Rico to take some action.
Yes.
Did Sergeant Rico take that action by himself, or was he accompanied by another member of the state police?
He was accompanied by another member,
And who was that?
Sergeant Greg Luca.
The same one we saw on the video earlier going up to Mr. Staples and speaking to him.
Correct.
Okay. Based upon what happened, did you describe what happened from what your vantage point once Sergeant Rico and Sergeant DeLuca came up to Mr. Staples and Ms. Brunel? What happened in terms of the proceeding thereafter?
They asked them to both stand up and follow them back behind the curtain out to the back door.
Okay. And do you know whether or not they specifically, were you within earshot of them when they were speaking to Mr. Brunel, Mr. Staples and Ms. Brunel? Were you within earshot at that point?
Behind the curtain?
No, when they were being instructed by Sergeant Rico and
No.
Sergeant DeLuca. Okay. But you saw, you could see them being spoken to, and you could see them get out.
Correct.
And did they go with the two troopers?
Yes.
Did they offer any physical resistance at that point?
No.
Okay. And did they follow the troopers out to this area behind the curtain?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And then, from your vantage point, at that point, once they had gone behind the curtain, did the meeting continue on in terms of the executive council meeting? Did it continue on at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Did it ever stop?
Once they were outside and behind the curtain, did you hear something at some point within maybe a minute or so, maybe less, of them going behind the curtain that caused the meeting to stop.
Yes.
What did you hear? What happened behind the curtain?
I could hear Frank as well as the other woman yelling behind the curtain, extremely loud.
Okay, without getting into the specific content of what they said, were you able to hear that? Was it clearly something that you could hear with inside the area that you were at?
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
Would it have been audible to folks up on the stage?
Yes.
And did it cause the meeting to stop or be paused at that point?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And you were a witness to that, you overheard it?
Yes.
And what happened, even if there is a visual, is there an audio component that hears that?
Yes.
And can you identify, at least with respect to the one defendant who's here in court today, were you able to identify from the voice who it was who was saying those things or yelling those things?
Yes, I can.
And who was that?
Frank Staples.
Okay, and can you identify him here in court today?
Sure, it's the gentleman standing over there with a blue t-shirt, black beard.
Okay, I'd ask that the record reflect that. Is this the very same person we saw on the video with Sergeant DeLuca speaking to, who was in a red sweatshirt and a hat that had the same sort of a beard?
Yes, it is.
So basically, same kind of general look back on October 13, 2021.
Yes.
No question in your mind, the person making the noise, the person spoken to by Sergeant DeLuca, and the person who's here in court are one and the same individual.
They are one and the same, 100%.
Objection, he can't testify to other people's knowledge. He just said he didn't witness some of this stuff. So he can't say for sure any of these things that they're alleging, that I don't even know what you guys are alleging because I don't have these complaints in front of me. I don't know what these complaints say. So if you want to keep forcing me to continue at this point, it's fine. But yeah, I'm objecting to everything.
Okay, I'll be that. Okay. That's overruled. Do you have any additional?
No, I have no further questions for Lieutenant Paul. Sorry, he may have some questions.
Sir, do you wish to inquire?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay, please.
for sure. So you're saying that Lavoie was a witness to something that Therese and I did, and then you ordered them to arrest me? Is that what you said?
I believe that's what I said, yes.
Okay. And so what was it that Lavoie told you we did that warranted us being arrested? Where was the disruption? And well, the meeting didn't stop, you testified to as well, correct? The meeting didn't stop until after we were behind the curtain and I was in handcuffs. And then I was objecting to my illegal arrest.
What's the question?
The question is, if there was a disruption, you said there was a disruption, and that's why we were brought behind the curtain.
Right.
So what was the disruption that got us brought behind the curtain? Because the meeting didn't stop, you said. The meeting never stopped. We got up quietly. Do you know what they said when they tapped me on the shoulder? Do you know what I was told? No, you don't.
I object to this question, Your Honor, for the call for hearsay. The question that is.
He said he knows everything. You can't tell us this is all hearsay now. He said he knows all the stuff. He's the top dog.
Sir, I want to hear what the state's objection is, and then I'll turn back to you.
The question posed to the witness by the defendant is, what did the person who saw the offending conduct say to the witness? That's hearsay.
No, that's fine. He might not know that. Sure. Okay. But what about the conduct itself? What is the alleged conduct that we were grabbed for right there simultaneously? What happened?
What disturbance did you do? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, we were brought behind the curtain. We were quiet. We didn't fight. The meeting didn't stop. What did we do to get pulled behind the curtain?
You made a vocal disruption
A vocal disruption where? When?
during the meeting.
During the meetings, when I said it's a lie?
No, we already talked about that.
Okay, so that's not what I'm charged with, that it's a lie? I'm never charged with that, correct? Have I been charged with saying it's a lie? Okay, so I'm not even charged with saying it's a lie, which you don't even know that you're saying I said. So what am I being charged with?
You'd be charged with disorderly conduct, I think.
I know, but what is the conduct, is what I'm trying to get at. Where was the disruption? The meeting never stopped. Why was I brought behind the curtain? That's the question. It's very simple. Am I not making sense?
Sir, part of your obligations in this proceeding is, while you're conducting cross-examination, to do so in a dignified manner. You've got to pose your questions calmly, because you're trying to elicit information from the lieutenant, and you've got to let him finish.
I'm disabled, man. I tried to tell you that. I'm doing my best here, and thanks for trying to redirect me. I appreciate it. I'll try. So, sir, what is the conduct? What conduct? What was the conduct?
There was a point during the meeting when everyone was standing up, the backs were turned to the executive council members.
The whole room has had their backs turned?
Correct.
Pretty much?
Yes.
Sure. Was there people walking around with signs? And I mean, I heard all kinds of banging. So it sounded like metal chains banging. Those weren't disruptions?
I don't recall the name.
Okay. And then when the admonishment happened, all right, sorry, I get distracted easily. So the conduct, let's get back to the conduct. So where was the conduct? What was the loud noise that you think I said? Or what did I do exactly?
You yelled, yeah.
I yelled, yeah,
Yes.
and that's why I got arrested, pulled behind the curtain. That was me getting arrested.
That was when you got arrested.
Right. I was actually told that they needed to talk to me, and then we got behind there, and I was arrested. So I said, yeah.
He's going to testify. He's perfectly able to testify, but I think that this is outside of the lieutenant's knowledge in terms of what happened.
He's answering the questions.
Okay.
So I said, yeah or yes?
Yeah.
You don't look too sure.
I've answered it twice.
Okay, yeah. So I said, yeah. Do you know why I was saying yeah if I said yeah? Do you feel that was trying to disrupt the meeting?
Can't put myself in your mental state.
Well, you felt it was a disruption, which is why I got arrested. You said that yeah was a disruption, correct? That was the disruption?
I'm going to take objections from
one of you. What I would indicate is that what the effect is just he's asked and answered the question as to what it was he was aware of, but it's also indicated that it was Major LaVoy that came up to him. He was aware generally of the disruption, and that Major LaVoy came up, talked to him, and he directed people to arrest. I asked him, was Mr. Staples specifically in his line of sight such that he could see him? And he said, no, he wasn't. And so the reason I'm asking, basically leaving, because he doesn't have the personal knowledge with respect to that, I'm going to wait for Major LaVoy, play the video for Major LaVoy, and have him testify.
Sure, we'll get to that too, that's fine. But he's the top dog, and he was given the orders. They had to clear the arrest through him, correct? No, they didn't have to clear the arrest through you? Then I thought you got, hold on, sir. Sure. I'm trying to.
I haven't heard the lieutenant say, I don't know, or I didn't hear it, or I wasn't there, or I didn't directly witness any of that. So this inquiry, I'm going to allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I said, yeah, and you gave the okay to have me arrested.
I was instructed.
You were instructed, by who?
Major LaVoy.
Major LaVoy instructed you to have me arrested? I thought Major LaVoy was the witness to me saying yeah.
Well,
So Major LaVoy was a witness to, and he reported to you that I said yeah, and then you ordered Greco to arrest me.
Correct.
Okay, so you see, slippery fish we're dealing with here. So you felt in your professional training and super high ranking position that day that me allegedly saying yeah was grounds to have me arrested for disorderly conduct.
At that point in the meeting, yes.
And the meeting was never stopped until after behind the curtain, correct?
Correct.
So the meeting was never stopped. Thank you. And how many, so that room there is a big room, it's huge. But would you agree with me that the public portion was about 1/4 to 1/8 of the total building, because it was split in half by the curtain, right?
It was split in half, yeah.
At least in half.
Probably a third.
A third. There was a big area back there. There's probably more. How many sheriffs and state troopers were back there behind the curtains, and how many vans were back there as well?
I don't have the exact number of who was stationed where at one time. It was pretty fluid.
Approximately how many guys with badges and guns were back there on stage? I thought you were running the whole show. I figured you'd be like, there was 10 of these, 20 of these.
I'm not sure how you want me to answer that, because I said I'm not sure who was stationed where at what time during the meeting.
Would you say there was 30, 40? Would you say there were 3, 4, 5 vans back there?
I don't know.
8 vans, 10 vans?
Less than 8.
Less than 8?
No more than 5.
More than 5. And then approximate officers, 30, 50, 100?
Are we talking in total?
In total, there that day to run this operation, this security operation, yeah.
Probably approximately 70.
It was 70.
my God.
70 officers that day.
Not all in the back center or all in that area.
Of course not, they were all hidden in the back, waiting to round us all up.
Sir,
What?
sir.
Yeah. What's up?
If you have questions for the lieutenant, please pose questions to the lieutenant.
Sorry. I get distracted. So, meeting didn't stop. And did you at all take freedom of speech into account during this incident?
What context? I don't.
In the right for people to be able to express themselves under the Constitution, express grievances, practice their religion.
I think we did.
You did? Did you arrest someone for saying amen that day?
Did I arrest anyone? No,
Did you have them arrested and say it was okay? Because we know it is. We know that Therese was arrested for saying amen. She was charged with saying amen. So she said amen, and I said yeah, and we were arrested for it. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Okay.
And all this time has been wasted.
So you don't feel that is...
Motion dismiss.
Admonish you not to make spontaneous.
Oh, that's First Amendment protected too. You can admonish him, but people are allowed to express their displeasure and their grievances on this bullshit sham.
Motion dismiss.
Okay, I'm gonna motion to dismiss on religious grounds. Listen, this guy arrested
Freedom
me
of speech.
for saying yeah to someone saying
Do you
amen.
have any more questions for the lieutenant?
Of course I got more questions. We're not done, they were just getting started. He said I said yeah to amen. So Therese said amen, and she was arrested. And this is gonna help.
I guess what I would indicate is with respect to what Therese said or did say she's not a defense, not a prosecutor, that's not relevant to this.
We were all trying to be co-defendants, so all these facts are relevant, Your Honor. It was a chain of events,
Ask your next question.
and they're trying to hide that shit, and we'll bring it all out.
Motion to dismiss free speech.
I'm going to limit your ability to cross-examine this witness if you don't direct your questions.
Is he going to talk to witnesses? Is he going to talk to witnesses?
Mr. Staples, ask your next question.
So Teresa was arrested for saying amen. I'm just trying to get my bearings here. And then I said, yeah. And that was reported to you, and you said to have the two of us arrested, because we were both arrested simultaneously. Would you agree? We both tapped on the shoulder at the same time. We pulled back at the same time. We walked back at the same time. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. And this is entrapment too, just saying. Like, this is crazy. So now I think we can move on to behind the curtain. Who's the grand Oz? Who is giving you the orders to do these things?
What?
It was just you? There was nobody telling you to have anybody arrested that day or anything? It was all you making the decisions, correct?
No, I didn't say that.
Who else was making these
I
decisions?
reported at the time to Major LeBoy.
You were reporting to Major LeVoy, so it's confusing because I thought you said that you were running the show. So Major LeVoy is the big dog. So was he the one that the governor was texting with?
I'm not aware of anything.
You're not aware of those texts between him and the governor?
I just answered the question.
Sure. So, Major LeVoy, it's just weird because I'm getting very confused. Because I thought you said that Major LeVoy got your permission to have us arrested. I could have swore you testified to that, man, and we got that nailed down. And then you ordered Greco. So Major LeVoy came to you first? Is that what happened?
He came to me and told me what he saw.
He saw, so Major LeVoy saw me and Teresa say amen and yeah. And then he was running the show and he told you to have somebody arrest us. Correct?
Correct.
And then we were brought behind the curtain. So behind the curtain, what happened behind the curtain?
I don't know. I wasn't behind the curtain.
You weren't behind the curtain, but you said that you heard some unintelligible yelling.
I heard clear yelling.
Sure. Clear yelling.
Behind the curtain.
What did you hear?
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at that point, you don't know whether or not I was in handcuffs, correct?
I did not know.
So, what else do you know? You didn't have anything to, or did you have anything to do with any of the stuff behind the curtain? Did you end up going back there at any point? Or did you stay here? I'm just trying to see if we can get rid of you. So I want to
When
move
you were
on.
being arrested, I did not go behind the curtain.
You didn't go behind the curtain and have anything to do with those other charges, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. All right, so I think we're done with this guy.
Any redirect?
No,
Nothing further?
You may step down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was his name? I'm sorry. Congratulations.
He's gonna call me tomorrow, John.
And may he be excused, or do you want him to stay?
I know he needs to stay. We don't know if we need to bring him back.
Okay, if he's potentially to be called, I'll just ask that you remain.
We don't know what these guys are gonna say.
But you're sequestered
And he
at
needs
this
to be
point.
sequestered somewhere. I don't want because this dude ran back there. I don't know if he was whispering something in somebody's ears. I don't know why he was allowed to get
Sit
out of
up
it like that.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
You have-
Going out there and talking to the witnesses. He's like, let's get this show on the road.
hold on. He admitted that you saying yeah was free speech. You have a dismissal. You haven't.
He admitted, I know, he's an idiot.
He didn't recognize your motion.
Raise your right hand. I swear that your testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Have a seat. State your name, spell your last name for the record, please.
My name is Megan Rose.
Ms. Rose, where do you work right now?
I work for the Office of the Executive Council.
She can't hear.
Could you just keep your voice up a little bit?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How long have you been working for the Executive Council?
In my capacity as the Executive Assistant to the Executive Council, I've been working there since October 5th of 2018.
Relevance of this objection. I don't know what any of this has, yeah, sure, she's on the executive council. What does this have to do with the charges, is what I'm trying to get at.
It's a little premature to make her relevancy.
Well, how long she's been on the thing has nothing to do with any of it.
All right, overruled.
Thank you.
So in that capacity, Ms. Rose, about how many Executive Council sessions have you attended?
There is approximately 11, 12 per 6-month period. So whatever the math is from that, I don't know, approximately 24 a year for the last 5 years.
So well over 100.
Yes.
And where do they usually come?
For the months of January through June, they're held at the State House in the Executive Council chambers. And they're held from the months of July to approximately October, out in the districts. There's still another, and back at the State House from around mid-October to the end of the year. But with the exception of during COVID, we had to hold them in different venues to allow for the social distancing that we were supposed to be.
And just so the record, October 13th, 2021, that during this COVID rules about capacity and distance.
I believe so, yes.
And it's not, as you said, there is 2 to 3 months every year where you guys take this show on the road.
Yes.
And so it's not unfamiliar territory for you and the executive counselors to be in different venues.
Correct.
And they're accustomed to making certain accommodations for the nature of those venues, are they not?
Yes.
On October 13th of 2021, you guys, the executive council had their meeting. Where was that meeting?
That was at the police standards and training council.
Are you aware of why that particular venue was chosen?
I believe that was the last on the road meeting, so it was, the governor gets to choose. I think, I'm not exactly sure if it was the last meeting or if it was council of viewers, but it was either of theirs, and they get to choose the venue, so, and I believe that we were trying to make accommodations based on being able to accommodate people coming, because we had some important items on the agenda, we were expecting to have a lot of people, and we basically had space for everybody.
So, well, that's a good point.
Leading, he's about to try to lead in the witness. I know what you're trying to get at.
Let me bring it back then. So about how many people could be accommodated at the legislative office building where you guys normally have?
We're normally at the State House, not the LA.
I'm sorry, yes.
And I don't have an exact number for that, how many people can fit in that building, fit in that room. It would not have accommodated the amount of numbers that we saw that day, at the actual meeting, but we usually have around, I'm gonna say 30 to 45 chairs set up, folding chairs, metal
are you, in your capacity as the executive assistant to executive council, are you aware of how many people came on October 13th? Okay. If you could just, for the record, describe what the usual, in your experience, what the usual demeanor of the room is during a typical meeting.
So, before the meeting starts, they.
Objection, this is some this is subjective, expert, speculative, like her opinion of how a meeting is. I object to this, she's not an expert or anything. I don't know how many she's been to or any of that, so.
Testifying to her direct personal experience in over 100 executive council meetings, I think she's.
Well qualified?
I think she's qualified to offer this testimony.
I know, but that's fine.
So, for government council meetings, the rooms fill up slowly.
Hey, I've got a report that Baldessari is talking to the other witnesses. Okay, we just saw it happen.
Did you guys, you know where the witness just went? Babasar, the officer?
They went down there and then they went to the left and then I
Thank
don't
you.
know where they went.
Thank you.
I don't know where they went after that. I didn't see them go downstairs.
I think this is already both sides.
No, he's not. No. You know if he went down there or not?
I didn't see him.
Did you talk to him at all?
Well, they like so.
Yeah.
Is he in here?
I don't know why. I should ask him where he saw it. Did he see it pulled? Ian just went to the bathroom, so where the fuck? Well, they can just go off into any room by themselves?
No, they're not allowed to talk to each other.
And the prosecutor for against Frank just now went out there and talked to Megan.
This is interesting. Okay, I'm locked. Just want to see real quick. Is he in here? Ian can be a witness. He had to sign an affidavit and get it notarized.
Me?
If he was talking to witnesses.
Oh, Ian might.
Yeah, I'll go out and come back in if he's outside.
Yeah, how much you want?
Let me see if he's in here. They call us free staters. Did you just label me as a free stater?
I wasn't talking about you at all.
I heard you say something like that, though.
I said but I wasn't talking about
Yeah, but that's discriminatory, sir.
Frank's not a free
It's none of
stater.
your business. It wasn't about you.
100%, you work for the public.
I don't know why I waste my time.
You work for the public and you're discriminatory
Open and
action.
transparent. They have to be open and transparent.
I'll be back. Well, he's a tyrant fascist pig. How you like that one? Do you want to walk this through here? Okay. Adjust my key.
You can come through and get it. Come through and get it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to do
All right,
any
I'll
damage.
grab it like this. Appreciate you not wanting to touch my stuff or do your job properly.
No one up there?
No, but he's probably in the other room. Witness tampering. We're gonna get that on record. Hey, Footloose can get a motion to dismiss based on he said, yeah, is free speech, and that's it. The whole thing will be done.
I mean, like, the paperwork said that it was supposed to be for the November 9th or whatever thing today's. The judge just didn't want to look at his paper because he's not in the right spot or whatever.
So he's not in here?
So if they come back, she watched mine. Maybe they could be in like these rooms.
Maybe a side room or something? No, no lights are on. If I can get it on video of him doing it, it's like the whole thing is secured. You guys witnessed that happening though, or?
What?
Babasari, whatever his name is, talking to witnesses?
Cop that came out from testifying was talking to other witnesses. Ian saw it, but we don't know where they went.
He'll have to get a signed affidavit.
We should go look in the other.
They all were talking to me. They've all been saying hi and.
You're not a witness, correct? Do you know where Babasari went?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, he was just talking to witnesses. He's not in there.
Where? There's like nobody in the whole courthouse. Well, let's go look in the last courtroom and see if there's the side rooms there.
Well, I can't really, you're not supposed to go in that one. I mean, if there's nothing going on, it's not a big deal. Okay.
It might not always be.
I've gotten cases dismissed because of witness tampering.
Is he making any progress otherwise?
He needs to do, right now, he needs to do a motion dismissed, but for free speech, because I can't really talk to you.
Oh, right, sorry.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe he witnessed Babasari witness tampering?
Carry on.
Did you, sir? No?
You see him talk to me?
Was he right here when it all happened?
I don't know what he said. He said hi to me. Yeah.
Okay.
One guy came by and asked me, he said, why you looked at me? I
Ian
said, I
said
didn't
that
say
he just
anything.
had his head in there talking to them, and then he took off. And he said he'll sign an affidavit.
Okay. That's how you do it. Hi. Are you Babasari? Were you talking with them?
No, I went to get a chair.
You didn't?
Because there's no, see, look, if you look in the room, there's no chair in here, so I grabbed the one chair that was in there, so I can sit by myself.
If you would, contrast your experience with October 15th.
So, if we were to do a typical, like a meeting on the road, which will call that meeting on the road, it's not at headquarters. It's, no matter where we are, the expectation of one is always the same.
this wasn't a meeting where anyone was expecting anybody from the public to be addressing the meeting. Correct.
Do you have any inquiry?
Couple. So, you said a typical meeting is quiet, but then you just testified also that this wasn't a typical meeting, it wasn't in a typical location either, is that correct?
I guess you probably would think that, but that's what I said.
Usually not that many people, it had to be held in a special location
Correct.
for that reason, because you knew there were gonna be a lot of people there. Do you know why a lot of people were expected to be there? Objection. You don't know if she said what she knows. She might know.
What's the relevance of your?
What did I ask now? I can't even remember.
Was there an expectation that there would be a great?
Oh yeah, do you know why there was
No.
expected?
What's the relevance of your question?
Because it has to do with the amount of people that were there, why they were there, why they might be a little bit more, especially louder, not just the general having more bodies there. And are you familiar with this location?
Sir. And your objection is?
The reason why there might be more people there is not relevant to the charges at hand. That's my argument.
I'm saying it relevant to the general conduct of the people who are there in attendance. If she doesn't know these people, she's not familiar with these people, was she aware of why there might be more people and what type of people might be there? That's my question. I'm just asking if she was aware. She might say yes or no question.
I'll allow
It was my understanding that the people that were attending the meeting were people that had attended the prior meeting, and the interest that was coming through email to the council at that time had to do with items regarding federal funding of COVID dollars.
So you are aware, and are you aware that there were a lot of people that were against the acceptance agreement? And that's who most of those people were, and that's why the meeting had to be held. So that's basically what you're saying. Exactly what I said. So, would you agree that the people who are against the COVID money, did they? So why are you aware of the previous meeting, and what were the context of the emails? Are you aware that that meeting was shut down and wasn't allowed to proceed over that money?
I'll sustain that objection, because now it's starting to get a little.
Well, it's funny, they wanted to allow character evidence from all these other things, and I agreed to it.
Well, Mr. Staples, I allowed your inquiry.
So-
She responded to your question.
So she knew it was about, all right, I got another one. So, have you ever been to an executive council meeting at that location?
Just that day.
Just that day. So you're not familiar with that location at all, except for that day?
That was the first time I had been inside that building.
Excellent. So this was an atypical meeting, and it was much louder than usual because of the COVID funding acceptance. Were you a witness to any of the disorderly conduct?
I would move to strike with the.
Well, no.
Characterization.
Oh, yeah, the pandemic?
Sir, could you just pose questions, please?
I'm trying, doing my best here. So, were you a witness? You were there in attendance the whole time?
I was.
Did you witness the disruption? And what was the disruption that you witnessed?
There was loud voices and yelling, and shouting, and things that don't normally happen at government houses.
Was that taking place in that room?
Yes.
Who was yelling and shouting?
I can't answer that specifically because I'm facing the stage, but it would have been people behind me.
Would it have been, was it more than one person?
Yes.
All right, so there was yelling, so you felt that the yelling, there was some yelling that was disturbing. And when did the meeting stop?
I don't know exactly what time.
You don't know, well, at what point in the state of events? When did, so the yelling that you're talking about, was that before or after Megan Walsh's general admonishment to the crowd? The sergeant, do you remember when the sergeant said, hey, any more outbursts and we're gonna arrest everyone or something?
I do remember that. The yelling happened before. There was multiple points of yelling, and that happened before that statement.
And then
And then after as well.
And, all right. And when were people arrested that you witnessed?
Just want to make sure that I'm answering your question appropriately. So after the Lieutenant Walsh, after she made that announcement, and there were additional outbursts, that is when any arrests took place or people were moved. Again, I am not facing the same direction, so I do not see who.
But you heard these things.
Yes.
Did you hear someone say amen? And yeah, and is that what you were considering one of the disturbances?
No, I did not hear that.
So you didn't hear amen, yeah, or consider those a disturbance?
I heard yelling, but not specific wording.
Okay, that's fine. Yelling. Ah!
Yelling, outbursts, sighs.
Sighs, things like that. Would you consider those disorderly conduct when people go, oh?
Sustained.
Would you consider that disruptive?
Yes.
Would you consider that protective of your expression under the freedom of speech and right to redress your grievances with the government? Would you feel that's protected free speech? Would amen be religious in nature, someone saying amen?
I'm sustaining the state's objection to this line.
Oh, that's fine. So it's all about COVID money, you know that. And yeah, I don't feel like we should anything for this one anymore.
Nothing further. It's released.
She can probably go home too. I don't think we need to have her back.
Is there any objection to this witness being excused from the day?
The state is actually involved, Sergeant Megan Walsh.
That's good. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Say hi to your YouTube fans.
Mr. Staples, are you recording?
Of course I'm recording. I always record. I've been recording the whole time.
Did
And I've
you
been
get-
recording.
did you get-
I always have authorization. I already have pre-authorization. So you can go research the court record, okay? Because I ain't stopping. I damn sure I ain't stopping now. What did I tell you at the beginning? I don't ask permission. I don't need pre-authorization. We went through this downstairs. We went through this multiple times, okay? So now you wanna say, oh, hey, what are you doing when you've been recording all your stuff this whole time? Since the day one of these trials?
Sir, I didn't appreciate that you were recording.
I don't care what you appreciate, because you don't seem to appreciate the First Amendment or our rights very much, sir.
Sir.
You're allowing this sham to continue. Let's go.
Sir, I've allowed this gentleman to record because.
You're not allowing, he has the right.
And I authorized two other people to
No,
make recordings.
no,
You didn't.
no, I don't need
You don't
authorization.
need authorization either, they'll tell you.
All I need to do is notify the court.
Notification, you can't deny it. And I notified you, I told you. I don't ask permission. I notified you, I'm here, you can obviously see what I'm doing. So, I don't know what you're trying to do, man. This is just foolish. We're wasting time here. Okay.
Well, I didn't authorize
authorize you to.
Well, I'm not even supposed to be here
Don't need
for this
authorization?
fucking trial today. I'm not supposed to be here till next fucking Friday. You don't wanna listen and you don't wanna check. Okay? So, here we are. I'm not prepared for this shit. Let's get it the fuck on. Cause I got witnesses to call if we can.
All right, Mr. Stickles, in the interest of keeping this proceeding moving, I'm going to authorize you to continue to record this proceeding.
Authorize what?
But I just need to warn you that your histrionics are starting to get a little carried away.
I don't give a deal. They've been carried away. Okay? Don't tell me it's now just getting carried away. We've been recording this whole fucking time. All right?
You're right that you've gotten carried away in the course of.
And now it's sinking in from before. You're seeing that I'm not getting arrested for any of this stuff when I didn't do anything near what that was on any of these charges anywhere. Okay? And I've done this after hearings and nothing's happened.
So the court is allowing you as a defendant in this proceeding
To commit crime.
substantial leeway.
Sure. This makes so much sense.
In the interest of ensuring.
It doesn't make any sense.
Protecting the
Logical
rights of the
fallacy.
process.
No, I'm not even gonna go through each one.
I'm just warning you. That
I don't need it.
That you
Don't
need to
warn me.
watch your language. And then you need to
I
conduct
told you.
yourself with more dignity.
I saw, boy.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please stand? Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to offer this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please give us your name, you spell your last name, for the record, you may be seated.
Good afternoon, my name is Sergeant DAY1, MEGAN, WALSH.
Where are you currently employed?
So I'm currently employed by the New York State Police team.
And tell us a little bit about your training experience to become a state trooper.
So I was hired by the New York State Police in May of 2013. I was graduated since that time. I have served on D. I've had some different roles in the division, including recruitment and training. Now I'm back to the DNA patrol supervisor capacity.
And when did you go from being a regular, say, patrol trooper to becoming a sergeant?
In 2021.
2021. Were you elevated to the position of being a sergeant prior to October 13, 2021?
I was. It was August.
Okay. So a couple of months before the events that were in court today, you had become a sergeant at Troop D.
I have, yes.
Okay, and can you tell us briefly, sergeant as opposed to patrol trooper, if you have additional duties that come with that?
I do supervisory duties, administrative duties.
Right. Okay. So, in your capacity as a sergeant at the New Hampshire State Police Troop D barracks, were you assigned and to be involved in the October 13, 2021 Governor and Executive Council meeting at the Police Standards and Training Facility?
I was.
Okay. And do you recall approximately maybe what time you would have got there?
I believe I probably got there around 7 in the morning, and the meeting was due to begin at 10. So we were there to kind of set up, get some briefings, get set up as far as where we were going to be within the building, some of our duties that we were going to be executing.
Okay. So were you at that facility in the tactical room at or about 10 o'clock when the meeting was due to start?
I was, yes. So the entrance where all visitors were coming in from, I was along that long side of the wall.
Okay, if it's easier, there's a video here if you want to come up with it. Just obviously in this video, I think it may show you, but tell us relative to not just that video, but the morning up to that point, where you might have been stationed.
So right here along this left side of the screen is where that wall is. I was pretty much there for the entirety of the morning up until I gave that announcement, and then I was at different points within the tax center during.
Okay, and do you recall, in terms of the duration of this meeting, about what time you would have given the warning that you indicate you gave?
I can't speak to an exact time. I know that it was at some point after it began.
Okay.
As far as the time that I said, I'm not
Staples.
Okay.
Sergeant, I may need to trouble you to go back to the microphone just because your statements won't be picked up by the record if you're not.
Thank you very much.
Sure, they do.
So, during the early part of the meeting, when it began, do you recall the governor giving a general announcement to the crowd that was assembled?
I do. I can't speak to the specifics about what he said, but
And I don't want you to. At some point in time thereafter, did the governor lead the crowd in a pledge of allegiance? Do you remember that?
he did, yes.
And do you remember towards the end of that pledge of allegiance period, did the governor then address the crowd again?
He did.
Again, without getting into the specifics, did the governor give them some general information about the conduct at the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. And after the governor had spoken to the crowd, is it fair to say the governor's statements were out to the crowd in general?
Yes, he was speaking at the microphone.
Okay. At some point after the governor had said what the governor said, were there some times prior to you making an announcement where there were noises or disruptions that you witnessed and heard?
There were some members of the crowd that were, when things were said on stage, that they agreed with or disagreed with, clear statements or, exasperations, things of that nature, just kind of based off what was happening on stage.
Okay. At some point in time, did you see Sergeant DeLuca approach someone and give them a warning?
I did, yes.
Who did Sergeant DeLuca approach and give a warning to?
So I saw him walk up to Mr. Staples and Ms. Grinnell. I believe she was in that general area as well. I don't know what he was talking to them about, but I did see him walk up to them.
Okay, and you saw him speaking, and we were talking about Mr. Staples. Do you recognize Mr. Staples?
I do, yes.
Is he here in court today?
He is in the blue t-shirt.
Can you ask, just for our record, what is he wearing perhaps for a shirt? What does it look like he's wearing for a shirt?
He has on a blue t-shirt.
Does also sort of look like a gray or blue t-shirt? Okay. And how about, does he have a beard?
He does, yes.
Okay. I just asked the record.
Check.
That she's identified as Mr. Staples. I know he wasn't necessarily attired the same way, but on the date of October 13th, 2021, are you able to identify the fellow who Mr. Sergeant DeLuca walked up to and spoke to as being Mr. Staples?
It was.
Okay. And with respect to that, you said you didn't actually hear specifically what was said, but at some point in time, after Sergeant DeLuca spoke to Mr. Staples and or Ms. Grinnell, was there a point where you were tasked to give a general announcement to the crowd?
I was, yes. Staff Sergeant Baldessari at the time came up and asked me to make an announcement to the crowd that if there were any more outbursts, those individuals would be arrested for disorderly conduct.
Okay, so when Sergeant and now Lieutenant Baldessari came up to you, was that after Mr. DeLuca, Sergeant DeLuca had actually gone up to the defendant and Ms. Grinnell?
It was.
So it's later than that, and were you a witness or had you heard the things that were causing Sergeant Baldessari to come up to you and announce that there was going to potentially be arrests if people continued to disrupt the meeting?
I had not, just the general things that I've spoken about is, it's exasperations from the crowd, some random statements and phrases, things like that.
Okay, so you were just generally aware of some of the activity, but he came up to you and said specifically, would you make an announcement?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to what you were doing, when you went out to make the announcement, did you do so and interrupt the people up on the stage who were talking, the governor and the detective counsel? Or did you wait for there to be a pause in the meeting in order to be able to make that announcement?
Yes, so I waited for there to be a pause. I recognized that they were in between topics because there was a lot of paperwork shuffling and there was a moment to be able to do that without interrupting. So that I made my announcement to the group. I stepped to the front of the audience.
Okay. Now, we've had it played, but I want to have it played again. I just want to have you confirm that this is you and this is the amount of announcement you made. Okay, and here's another.
Yeah, I can't hear this. This is not, I'm gonna object to this evidence being used and presented. The audio is, they got it cranked up.
Disorderly conduct.
Try to make it sound louder than it is. It's unnaturally boosted.
Can we allow this to play without the defendant officer reporting
You're
here?
just threatened.
I'm objecting to the evidence at this point. You can't even hear it.
Oh, shit. So we're gonna be arrested for disorderly conduct if we disrupt the meeting.
A lot of booze after that.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you for that just one moment.
It's with aspirations. Funny how many booze.
This hat here, is that the hat being worn by the defendant?
On the screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. So with respect to whoever's recording this and making the statement about being arrested for disorderly conduct, does it appear that they're making that statement essentially right next to Mr. Staples? Okay. In terms of your giving that admonition, describe to the court what your intent was in terms of advising the people who were there in attendance, the members of the public. What were you intending to do?
My intent was just to be very clear, so that while we appreciate your desire to be here, if there are any more outbursts or disruptions to the meeting, you'll be arrested for disorderly conduct.
Okay. Clear, just as you said it here today. And was it your intent, and do you believe that your statements reached the people who can't doubt who might have hearing issues or whatever, but was your intention to advise all the members of the public who were there that day that from this point forward, any further disruptions would result in arrest for disorderly conduct?
Yes.
And sometime after you gave that instruction based upon a conversation you had with now Lieutenant, but back then Staff Sergeant Paul Sergeant, correct?
Yes.
After you gave that instruction, were you aware of any sort of a disturbance or noise which led to the lieutenant giving instruction to Sergeant Grego to go and arrest Mr. Staples?
I wasn't in a position that I heard or saw anything, but I do know that I saw Sergeant Grego.
Okay, so you were able to witness Sergeant Baldessari direct Sergeant Grego to go over and make an arrest?
To direct Sergeant Grego?
Yes.
No.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay, all right. After you made your announcement, did you walk back to the area where you said you were sort of along the wall?
So I was between the wall and where I made that announcement. That's where I was stationed, that's where I was positioned.
Okay. And that was up closer to the stage in terms of location?
It was.
Not far back or further back in the crowd area where Mr. Staples was, correct?
I was essentially the farthest position away from the curtain before the closed off area in front of the stage.
Sort of near the closed off workout area. Correct. Did you have any personal contact with Mr. Staples that morning after this announcement that you made? Did you, in other words, were you involved in his arrest? Did you go behind the curtain? Did you do anything with Mr. Staples?
I did not.
I have nothing further with this witness. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Staples, you may inquire.
So you testified that there were people making exasperations. Was it similar exasperations, like as to right after you warned everybody there was kind of more exasperations? Would you agree we just witnessed that as the kind of characterization?
Yes.
Okay, and those are exasperations, disorderly conduct, is that an arrestable offense?
So.
Or is it protected by the First Amendment?
Yeah, I'm gonna sustain that objection.
What did he say?
I'm gonna sustain.
I objected. I said, I think you're asking for a legal conclusion, and I think it's for the judge to make legal conclusions, not the witness.
Oh, okay. So, why didn't you arrest anyone after you just warned them and then they just had a few more exasperations that you said those were the same type of exasperations that you were warning them about? So, why didn't you arrest anyone after you gave that warning?
Well, Mr. Chase, I think we wanted to give everybody the opportunity to comply with the order, give them an opportunity to do what was being asked, so that the meeting could go on, and everybody who wanted to witness it could stay there, please.
What is an outburst or a disruption? How are we to know what that is?
Something that disrupts the meeting.
And what would that be? How do we know that what you're admonishing, like outbursts or disruptions, you weren't specific to any one person, were you?
No.
Was there any one person that made you get up and say that, or would you say that you were ordered to just get up and say that?
I was ordered to go.
You were ordered by Major Lavoie?
Staff Sergeant Paul, sorry, at the time.
Staff Sergeant Baldessari at the time, he's now lieutenant. So he ordered you. Did he tell you why?
No.
So you didn't do that on your own. You didn't feel that there was a need to admonish the crowd on your own without the order.
Can you repeat that, sir?
You didn't feel the need to admonish the crowd because you didn't without getting the order from him. So those exasperations that you were referring to that happened right after you gave the order, that you didn't arrest anyone for, that you said you would, that were happening before, these just general exasperations, there's a lot of people there.
Bring the question home.
So, yeah, I might have lost my train of thought a little bit. So the outbursts and disruptions, you didn't specifically warn any one person, and you were ordered to give that, and you don't know exactly why you were ordered to give that.
Well, I think that people had been saying things out loud, and there were some words that were being said.
You think that, but you don't, do you know for sure exactly why you were given that order?
In that moment,
No. Did you get told afterwards why you were given that order?
no. It was
So you still to this day don't know why?
It was to keep the disruptions to the meeting.
The disruptions to the meeting. So what were the disruptions?
Sorry, she was responding to a question.
So, sorry.
Just let her finish and then go to your next question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so can you be specific about the outbursts and the disruptions that you're privy to and that you would consider arrestable? That
Can you
you,
just repeat that? Can you repeat that for me?
what are some of these outbursts and disruptions that you feel is arrestable under the disorderly conduct statute as your job as an officer?
So obviously, people are shouting words and they're shouting phrases while business is being conducted on the stage, and that's going to interfere with the conduct of that meeting. So it really doesn't matter what the words specifically are, it's the in nature they're disrupting the meeting.
Gotcha.
So I'm not looking to say certain words or phrases that you are not allowed to say, it's in general things that are going to
Anything,
fault the
any
actions on the
sound?
stage.
Is there like a decibel level
I can't speak to this.
to the law? There's no decibel level in the law.
No.
Okay. And you said you heard people sighing and breathing heavy. Those were similar.
Less breathing heavy, right? Just people who were, like you said, when I made my announcement, people.
Well, we heard it, yeah. So those are just like exasperations. Those are what we were warned about. And so you said that I was spoken to for something that you don't know what that was. It could have been somebody fist bumping me and saying, I love your YouTube channel or something. For all intents and purposes, you don't know, right? Okay. And then you made your thing. When you heard all these other exasperations, how many people approximately in the room were making these exasperations, and was I one of them?
I'm not sure, I can't speak to that.
Or you didn't witness me as being one of those many people? You didn't pin me, can you pin me down as being one of those ones?
Truthfully, to be honest, I don't think I was looking at you.
So no. So no, you can't, correct. So you just heard a lot. How many people approximately in the room? It was more than one person exasperating and making noises, you said? How many approximately?
I can't approximate, but it was definitely more than one.
Definitely more than one. Would you say 5 to 10 or more like half the room or the whole room?
I'm not sure.
So there were exasperations, and I was spoken to once. Was anyone else spoken to individually in the crowd? Of all these people that the whole crowd is being warned about, how many other people were individually warned besides me?
If anyone else was warned, I was unaware of it.
You're unaware of it. maybe we might need to get him back here for that. I think we're gonna need to get him, for that one. We're gonna need to officer. So you know, hours. Typical. Do you attend these type of things often? Is this your typical duty?
I have never been.
So you don't know how they typically go, what type of is decorum, you don't know what about the decorum?
No.
No. Thank you. That's it.
Any redirect?
A couple of questions. First off, when we showed the video, is it fair to say that Mr. Staples from this video was some distance away from you, from some significant distance away from you?
He was probably a good few rows away from me.
Okay.
Objection, relevance.
Well, he asked a question, I'll address it. I think it's relevant because he addressed the question to her about, did she see him do something in particular? And she said, I didn't, and I'm trying to get the spatial thing here about who
We
was
already know
close
she
to
was
her,
on.
whether he was close to her.
I don't think that's relevant to why she didn't hear, she didn't hear is the end all be all. She already testified that she was a distance away and all that, so I don't see the point of that, except trying to get her to say something else. But yeah,
Mr. Staples has a legitimate argument in that regard.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, with respect to the people, is it fair to say that there were three different groups of members of the public, in other words, behind the cordoned off area? There were three separate areas.
There was almost like 3 separate bays with aisles in between, and then there was the cordoned off area for the media, and then the cordoned off area for, all the governor, council, gear, video, all that stuff.
Okay, and is it fair to say that where you were stationed was by the front of the first of these three, if we're going from right to left as you're facing the stage?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I was that front right corner.
In the front right corner, okay. And is it fair to say that Mr. Staples was in the middle to the back of the middle section, section number 2?
Correct.
Okay. And you don't know specifically how many people are in each of the cordoned off areas, each of these little groupings, correct?
I don't know.
But there's several rows in each section, correct?
There was.
And with respect to the people in attendance, is it fair to say that not only do we have adults in attendance, but is it fair to say that a fair number of people actually brought children and younger children?
There's a good amount of children there, yes.
Okay, all right.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the point of that was, other than there's tons of people making noise. We heard babies, because you got the volume
Sir,
check.
do you have any regrets?
Yeah, let me see, hold on. So he's saying, I don't see what the point of that was, so I don't have anything further at the moment, but you might need to come back. If you could please not talk to people out there that are witnesses, thanks.
Call your next witness.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a sequestration order, so.
Sorry.
Next, we'll call Major LaVoy.
Yeah, I want to know who Baldessari talked to out there and what he said as well.
Yes.
100%, so we'll get him back, for sure.
Just standing at the open door talking.
Standing up there talking, it's all good, don't worry about it.
You should
Gotta get them stories straight.
You should sign an affidavit for that witness of that.
This is crazy.
Looks like a deer in headlights on my phone.
I bet.
Well, I'll swear you in.
Before we proceed with this witness, can I just ascertain that Lieutenant Baldessari remains in the courthouse?
I believe, the last I saw, I think he was seated in the conference room. I can go check just to make sure.
Well, if you could just secure his presence until,
We're done.
Lock him in a room by himself, yeah.
He's still over there, so
if someone could be sent out to just give him the message to stay, so Attorney O'Leary, that we can keep him.
By himself.
Just make sure.
Which one is this?
That'll get the whole case dismissed, I'll tell you that right now. It should.
He should just
dismiss it now.
I'll second.
Waste of time.
Support it.
Yeah, sure.
Sloppy, sloppy cops.
Hi, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to offer the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you give us your name, and would you spell your last name for our record?
Chad Lloyd, L-A-V-O-I-D.
And your current rank is major employee, correct?
That's correct.
Where are you employed?
I'm employed by the Department of Safety, Division of State Police, as a trooper, and currently hold the rank of major, and I've been employed since 2005.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about your training and experience in terms of getting onto the state police. Is this the only law enforcement agency you've worked at, or with other agencies?
Correct, the only law enforcement agency prior to joining the state police. I was on active duty in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years.
Okay. And when you started with the New Hampshire State Police in 2005, have you always been in like the Troop D place, or were you in other different troops throughout the state?
No, I've served in other parts of the state, and other troops as well.
Okay. When you were at Troop D, at some point in time, did you rise through the ranks at Troop D and ultimately become a sergeant, then a lieutenant, and then ultimately move on from there to your position where you're a captain and a major?
Yes, that's correct.
So could you give the court some idea of when you were in Troop D, what period of time, and what your roles were there?
Sure, I was promoted in January of 2020 to the rank of lieutenant, and the position I held over at Troop D in Concord was troop commander. So over at that position, I oversaw, a number of troopers to include staff, civilian staff, executive secretary, detectives, sergeants as well. And our primary mission is, law enforcement, motor vehicle, and criminal law, given under our jurisdiction throughout Merrimack County to include some of the interstates that go outside of Merrimack County as well.
Okay. So in that capacity, as the lieutenant and troop commander at Troop D, you acted in that capacity up to sometime shortly before this incident with regard to October 13, 2021, correct?
Correct. I believe it was in May I was promoted to the rank of captain, where I was assigned to our operations bureau out of headquarters. And one of the troops that I remained overseeing was Troop D in Concord at that point.
Okay. So, and after you left Troop D, it became a captain, was there a period of time where there was a vacancy or there wasn't anyone acting as the troop commander at Troop D?
There was, yes.
So when we got to October of 2021, is it fair to say that Staff Sergeant Baldessari at the time was really in the acting capacity of the troop commander because he was the highest ranking person there?
That's correct. His rank was a staff sergeant, and our staff sergeants are assigned as assistant troop commanders. So in the absence of a troop commander, they would act as the commander of that troop in the absence of a commander at that time.
Okay. So let's bring our attention now to the 13th of October. Is it fair to say, based upon your experiences being troop commander at Troop D, that you had a certain familiarity with the rank and file troopers, most of the rank and file troopers within Troop D?
That is correct.
And is it fair to say you had a working relationship with Staff Sergeant Baldessari? You knew him, he had been there during your tenure as the troop commander.
Yes, that is correct.
And with respect to the deployment of troopers to active security at this October 13, 2021 meeting, is it fair to say that in terms of the operations there, the person who was essentially, I don't want to say running it, but the person designated with respect to post was Staff Sergeant Baldessari?
That's correct. He was operating as the officer in charge there.
But is it also fair to say that in terms of rank, you were a higher ranking state trooper?
That's correct.
Okay. And so were you deployed to that location on October 13th, 2021?
I was.
Okay. And were you there with a number of other people, maybe even command staff people from the state police?
Yes.
Okay, can we have the video of the pans and shows the troopers on the side? Okay. On this video, I don't know if you can see from there, but on this video, can you tell us, or maybe it would be helpful to come over and maybe point to where you may have been, at least initially deployed?
I was off to this left-hand side as we look at the screen here against the wall, back towards the curtain that scraped across the back, towards the back of the room.
Okay, so it appears as though, but I know the judge wants you at some point to have to sit down, but if you could just for a moment, and just keep your voice up, if that's helpful. Can you tell us, there appears to be, and I know it's at some distance, but there's a table along the wall there, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and were there a number of people from the state police, command staff type people, seated at that table?
There were.
Was Staff Sergeant Baldessari seated in that area?
He was over there with me, yes.
Okay. Were you closer to the stage or closer to the curtain with relationship to Staff Sergeant Baldessari?
I believe in that photo I was closer to, further away from the curtain. Staff Sergeant Baldessari was closer to the curtain.
Okay. At some point in time later on, did that change? Did you go a little bit further over, or do you recall?
I know I was over in that general area pretty much the entire time towards that back area, either standing or sitting at times.
Okay. I guess you can have a seat back up here. With respect to this meeting with the governor and executive council, were you aware of the governor giving a couple of warnings to the folks living about their conduct?
Yes, I was.
Were you aware that at some point in time there was a pause and Staff Sergeant or Sergeant Walsh then addressed the folks in the room about the conduct?
Yes.
Okay. And were you aware prior to her doing that there was an opportunity for a sergeant by the name of DeLuca to actually go up to the defendant and speak to him about his conduct?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you witness all those things from the location you were at?
Yes.
And did you witness, or please describe for us what you witnessed, first off maybe as to what had occurred, which led to the order or the direction to Sergeant DeLuca to go over and speak to Mr. Staples?
Sure, so leading up to that, there were several loud outbursts coming from the crowd in general. And then specifically with Mr. Staples, we started to notice some loud outbursts coming from him directly in the crowd as well.
Okay. Do you recall what he may have said in response to something going on the stage that caused Sergeant DeLuca to go over and speak to him?
I remember hearing, "It's a lie," and to shut it down.
Okay. So at some point in time, this is attributable, I want to be clear, this is attributable to Mr. Staples. You hear him say that?
Yes.
It's a lie. And then at some point in
And
time,
shut it down.
At some point in time thereafter, do you see Sergeant DeLuca speaking?
That's correct, yes.
After Sergeant DeLuca speaks to him, does he then again say something that causes, that you hear, that's audible?
After Sergeant DeLuca had spoken with them, he then said, "Shut it down."
Okay. And when he said that, what distance is he, we've established that he appears to be in the second of the three groupings of the public, is that fair to say?
Correct, in that middle section.
He's in the middle section, and he's in the middle to back of that section, correct?
Correct.
And you are, when you hear these things, you are seated along the wall.
Yes, over
Here.
by the wall. I don't know if I was seated or standing at that.
You might have been standing at that point.
In
Right.
that- Yes, in that area.
You hear him say those things,
Yes.
and you recognize his voice,
Yes.
and you, in fact, see Sergeant DeLuca go up and speak to him.
That's correct.
All right. So after those things happened, was he arrested at that point?
He was not.
But after those things happened, sometime several minutes later, does Sergeant Walsh then get out and address the crowd?
That's correct.
Okay. And I will indicate that the court has already heard her admonition and saw what she said, or heard what she said. After that had occurred, is it fair to say that with respect to Mr. Staples, you would have heard the two statements from the governor already in the front end of the meeting?
Correct.
He would have been spoken to by Sergeant DeLuca.
Correct.
And he would have been an earshot of Sergeant Walsh's admonition about any more outbursts, people are going to be arrested for disorderly conduct.
Yes.
Any doubt in your mind that he would have been able to hear all those things and be aware of those things?
He doesn't know what I heard. He can't testify to any of that. He don't know if I have hearing aids. Objection. That's speculation. That takes pure speculation. He don't know nothing about me. Might think he does.
I think a proper foundation has been laid for the questioner, and I think the witness is in a position to be able to answer it. So, your objections respect.
Sure, whatever. He's already lying anyways. We've already got one.
After those various statements or admonitions from those various people, at some point in time, did you become aware of
I don't think you answered the question that was objected to. You asked him.
Would he have been able to hear? And I thought he did give an answer.
He did. There was an objection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would I have been able to
Was
hear?
it your understanding, based upon what the governor had said at the front end, certainly what Sergeant DeLuca had said to him, right in front of him, apparently, and then what Sergeant Walsh said, was it your understanding that he had received and understood the warnings about his conduct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And those were warnings that also applied to other people who were his attendants as well.
Yes.
But there had been a specific warning to him with respect to Sergeant DeLuca.
Yes.
With respect to what happens after Sergeant Walsh gives the general admonition, at some point in time, did you become aware of conduct on the part of Mr. Staples and or Ms. Brunel that caused you to be concerned?
Yes.
And based upon what you saw or heard and or heard, did you take some action?
We did.
All right, would you say we did? Did you do something specifically?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask if we could to play a couple of clips and see if you can identify what it is perhaps that came to your attention. Yes, exactly.
Yes. I can tell you this, that I would never approve this contract. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's still paying for their setup, which is wrong. And this council shouldn't be doing that. We can do it whatever way you want to do it.
So the council is against reimbursing companies for their costs to start a contract?
Correct. If they're providing a service and the service is $3, then they should increase their service price to make the accommodations for those setup prices. Because that's what most companies that are private companies do.
So you would rather see their setup cost integrated into their monthly invoicing instead of a one-time invoice cost after they set up?
I'm not looking to pay for their setup costs at all. You can twist the language whatever way you want.
I'm not twisting the language, Counselor.
What I'm looking for is for them to do business as most companies in this country do. If you want our business, come in and do the service.
If I may, when we set up a $50 million MMIS system with a lot of upfront hardware, it takes years. We paid for that.
That's where I was arrested.
Is there additionally another video that shows from another angle that behavior?
What behavior? What behavior? That's the question. You guys are a freaking joke. Were people told they couldn't stand and turn their backs or move unless they had permission? Of course not.
That's just a one angle that we have with that. This one is showing.
Praying, it looks like the whole room is praying together.
This is the point with excuse me, let me address the witness. Was there a point when all the members of the public were standing, or a lot of members of the public were standing up?
There was, yes.
And was there a point where they were standing up, where you, from your vantage point, had an eye on Mr. Staples and Ms. Riddell?
Yes.
In this video, does this appear to show Mr. Staples, and I believe earlier in back, I think that there's a clip that shows the lady standing next to him. Can you identify her?
That's Therese Grinnell.
Okay, and based upon what they had their backs to the stage, were you able to witness or see anything happen with respect to Mr. Staples and Ms. Grinnell that came to your attention?
Why were we targeted?
What did you see? What did you witness?
I witnessed her, Therese, say amen, with her hands up in the air, and then Mr. Staples say in a loud outburst, yeah.
Okay. And is it fair to say that when they were saying that, that was in response to, up on the stage, Executive Councilor Gatz is talking about, I wouldn't authorize a contract?
Yes.
Okay. So it appeared to be essentially saying something in response to the councilor when he was speaking?
Yes.
Okay. Based upon what you had seen, and also what you had witnessed earlier in the meeting with respect to warnings to Mr. Staples and also to the crowd, did you decide to take some action? What action did you decide to take?
Let's talk about this one.
What's that?
Were you opening this door?
No, we opened it because it's hot in there.
Well, the judge gave direct orders that he's be isolated.
He wasn't speaking to anybody, he was just opening, he opened the door. It gets hot in these rooms, sorry guys.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Oh, where is it?
I'll sign an affidavit too.
Like to change the man and who is who and what. And I think there might have been some confusion about, were you ordering Lieutenant Baldessari or Sergeant, Staff Sergeant Baldessari, were you ordering him to do something? Or were you providing him with information and he was the one who was supposed to implement who might make an arrest?
In confirming with him, it was more or less, I guess it could be taken as I was giving him an order to go and arrest and remove Mr. Staples from there as well.
Okay, and your decision, you made arrests, obviously, as a trooper. Your decision was based upon what you witnessed and what you saw and what you heard.
That's correct.
And is it fair to say that your decision was based upon an understanding that Sergeant Walsh's order to the crowd about disorderly behavior was essentially, this is a zero, disruption situation. You're here to observe. If you do anything to disrupt the meeting, you will be arrested.
Yes.
Did you understand her order to the crowd?
Yes.
She didn't say anything.
Have you given orders yourself to people at crowd situations, asking them to behave themselves and to say, if you do something inconsistent with this order, you will be arrested?
Not to that, I mean, extent of several orders about behavior, what is going to be tolerated, what's not going to be tolerated, and so forth. So
Right. And in this particular instance, was there any ambiguity in what Sergeant Walsh said, in your opinion? No. So based upon what you saw, you conferred with Sergeant Baldessari and indicated, this is what I witnessed, he needs to be arrested.
That's correct.
In terms of the execution of the arrest, who would do it and how it would occur, you didn't have any part of that.
That's correct.
Okay. He's the one who contacted Sergeant Grieco, and Sergeant Grieco then got Sergeant DeLuca, and the two of them went over, and we saw it on the video. Let me see folks out.
Yes.
Okay. That was your understanding, that's what you actually witnessed?
Yes.
I mean, objection, he's like giving him all the answers, leading the witness here. And this is getting a little crazy, let's go.
The objection,
Sure.
concerning leading is.
Or whatever, objection, I don't even know, but this is, yeah, whatever, let's go. Is it my turn? So,
Yeah, just for the record, I sustained your objection that his last several questions were leading, but then he's done asking questions, so that's that. Now is your opportunity to inquire, Mr. Stevens.
so, why were you only watching Therese and I, focused on us?
I was not just watching you for that.
How many other people got individual warnings that day besides me for these outbursts and disruptions from the crowd? That was not me.
Throughout the day, I believe there was other conversations that ensued. I don't know what other interactions the other troopers that were there throughout the entire duration of that meeting, what conversations they had after the fact, even post after your arrest.
So he's saying that, and you agree that none of the orders were ambiguous. Where was the specific conduct mentioned in any of these admonishments other than a general, any more outbursts like that, and we can't have people singing the Pledge of Allegiance too loud? Okay, that was that one admonishment? So us singing the Pledge of Allegiance loudly as a group was considered disruptive? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I'm not sure what your question is. There's a couple of them there, so.
When did the governor give his admonishment? Can we pull that back up and go through it and watch the
You just asked the question.
Sorry, what did I ask? I'm telling you, man, I get burnt out. This is taking a lot out of me. I got head trauma. I got post-concussion syndrome, so I don't know what to tell you. But, so, these admonishments from the governor is what I was saying, right? Let me look at my notes. I always forget to do that. So the governor gives warnings, explicit warnings, allegedly. What was the explicit warning from the governor?
He gave a couple of warnings in the beginning, how the meeting was going to go, and that loud outbursts or anything were not going to be tolerated throughout the meeting, that the meeting had to continue to move forward.
Yeah, but you're saying these are all mashed together. So I'm asking for what he actually said that was an explicit warning of certain conduct.
I believe I answered your question, but any
No, you didn't. Any outburst? Outburst is just that's a general outburst.
Sir, the question was asked and answered.
All right, so outburst. So what would you be considering an outburst or a disruption? Give me a specific example.
I would say any verbal loud outbursts, like the several that we had witnessed.
Like several that you had witnessed there throughout the crowd. How many people were making these outbursts? Approximately?
I don't have an exact number.
More than just myself and Therese Grinnell.
There were several occasions where the crowd, like I said earlier, was disrupted and being loud at points where we did have to address the crowd.
The crowd in general, but no one in specific.
That's incorrect. We specifically addressed
Me,
you.
once, and we didn't, somebody did, okay? You might think you're all in this web of corruption together,
Sure,
which you
you're-
are, but,
This
okay?
is the question.
It's not a we thing, it's you stand on your own 2 feet, man. So, when does freedom of speech come into play? Have you ever been to one of these things before?
Executive council meeting?
Executive council meeting, in this location?
Not that I can remember now.
Would you say there's a loud echo there? It's not built for audio, good audio. Would you agree to that?
It's a large room. There was.
Does it echo?
There. Sure, there's some echo there.
Okay. So it's not a typical location for one of these public meetings to be held?
I'm not sure where these meetings are held, twice a month or sometimes once a month. There's many different places where they're held, so I can't speak to that.
Okay, so you saw the arresting conduct. What was I arrested for now? You ordered the arrest, correct?
That's correct.
You were the ultimate orderer of the arrest. And you witnessed, why didn't you arrest Laura Therese?
Without getting into too specifics, there's reasons.
No, get into the specifics. We want the specifics.
How we're set up and, how to operate that day and what the, safe plan would have been to execute an arrest, and processing and so forth. And like we spoke about earlier, the chain of command and how we're set up for a large event like this, that there is a rank structure in how we're set up. Much like working in a patrol capacity on when we have several troopers or so working in enhanced patrol out in the interstates or in the towns or cities, we're set up a certain way where someone that's in charge is going to be removed from that area. That defeats the entire purpose of making sure that that everything is run appropriately.
Okay. And so you said that you witnessed me say it's a lie and shut it down.
That's correct.
And then Megan Walsh gave the admonishment, the general thing, right?
Yes.
And then the group, the whole room turned their backs to the accounts, correct?
Yes.
And then you said that I said yeah to Teresa's amen. And that was worthy, me saying yeah was worth us being arrested and her saying amen.
Yes.
Nothing else, that was it.
Given the leeway that we had given folks, including yourself that day, with the multiple warnings, that's correct. When you had that loud outburst of yeah, at that point enough warnings had been given to this point, and enough leeway had been given to you at that point as well.
And you're sure that I said yeah, it couldn't have been anyone else? How do you know that? Where were you at that time?
At that point in time, I was in that area where the desk is, back there towards the curtain, and I could see you and Therese from my vantage point where I was.
And so that would have happened while we had our backs turned sometime during that?
That's correct.
So can we watch that? The whole thing from when people stand up and then spin around? Is that okay? Because there's some stuff in there I'd like to point out.
I think we've shown the video.
No, you haven't completely.
You can rewatch it.
No, we didn't watch it completely.
Present as evidence.
It
seems to me that's sort of his case in chief. We've presented what the matrix as he saw it. We've shown the video of the two of them standing together. It is what it is. But
you have introduced this video for testimony and evidence without objection, and so I think the defendant is entitled to utilize it just as if it was a photograph.
And I don't disagree with that. I'm just trying to figure out in terms of George, our case, his case, whatever. So if you want to pull us back up, I'm fine with being able to watch it. The court being able to watch it again. I guess there's two videos, it seems like, we have on this.
The back turning.
And I would also want to get to the point where I supposedly said it's a lie and shut it down. We want to get to that point as well. Because I never said shut it down until I was in handcuffs behind the fucking curtain, bro. Yeah, you fucked up.
Just show, if you wouldn't mind.
You mixed up the story timeline.
Having to do with
Mr. Staples, I'm going to warn you again to watch your language. You're in a courtroom.
Well, you mixed up the story
yourself
timeline.
with dignity.
This is as dignified as I can get in this situation. You're lucky I'm still here entertaining this sham.
Wrong. And this council shouldn't be doing that. We can do it
Before that.
whatever way you want to do it.
Can we go just
I mean,
a little bit before that? too?
Well, before we all stand up.
Yeah, maybe if you go back to as they're standing up.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well watch the whole thing.
Well,
and see what actually transpired that day. No, I'm serious. You want to introduce this into evidence, let's do it, man. Let's watch the whole thing.
So we'll let the court know that'd be approximately 15 minutes.
Well, this is.
How about this, because we're gonna end up running over, I think.
This is cross-examination, so what do you
Right,
want to?
and I would, how about we have everybody watch this thing for homework at some point? What is it now?
Sir, what question do you have for the major?
Oh, shit, well, this is gonna, you're gonna be able to watch this whole thing, right? To make your decisions, what I'm getting at. I mean, we still haven't even gotten to my witnesses. I'm tired, thank you. So I was trying to watch this video to ask him about certain stages of it, is what I was trying to get to, but apparently we don't want to watch 15 minutes of it.
So what questions do you have for the major?
Are we not gonna watch the video? I'm
Well,
confused.
What?
So he's saying I said shut it down. All right, way before. So where is that? Because they haven't shown that at all. They haven't shown where I've said it's a lie. I haven't even heard that yet, okay? And if it was, sure the fuck wasn't me. I was one of the most quiet people there that day, all right? Yeah, did I get an admonishment? I didn't say it's a lie. I said he should know, okay? And I said, I know exactly why I said it, because he should have known why all those Afghan immigrant people and how many of them were here getting all the state funding. Because that was where it was at that point. It was early on in the meeting. And I got my admonishment, and I knew that that was my only warning. And so I made sure I was quiet as a church mouse the rest of this whole thing, up until I was in handcuffs behind the curtain, okay? So I didn't say it's a fucking lie, or it's a lie, or shut it down. You're a lie, all right? And then you're saying I was arrested for saying amen, or yeah to amen later. Let's get to that. Where do I say yeah, where's the amen? Can we get that on the screen?
Is that distinguishable in the video presentation?
Or which part?
The yay and amen.
Yes, box.
The things that I was arrested for. I would hope you got it on video because we were there the whole time.
It's still paying for their setup. We're still doing our best to resolve it. But again, they're bringing something up that didn't even happen with this administration and was really, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's still paying for their setup, which is wrong. And this council shouldn't be doing that. We can do it whatever way you want.
Woo. Pause right there. So I hear a bunch of woos. Were any of those people spoken to? Or were you just staring at me and Therese the whole time? How does everybody have their eyes on us the whole time? Why was that? Were you ordered to do that?
So,
of course we know you were.
So,
let's go.
Mr. Staples.
Yeah.
Please bring some order.
Oh, jeez, I told you, man, I'm tired. I'm doing my best. I've been here for a few hours now. I get burnt out really.
Just ask a question.
I did. I
And
think I
then
asked
allow
a
the
few.
witness to respond.
Okay. So, why didn't you admonish and go single out any of these people who are making these disruptions?
Why didn't we single them out? I'm not
Yeah, that just did those whoop whoop. Those people who just did the whoop whoop. And who were cheering what one of the counselors was saying, which should be allowed to go woo, or, you know, boo.
Is there a question?
The question is, where was the disruption? Let's go, where's the disruption? Where did I say, yeah? Where can you hear that?
You said earlier, Mr. Staples, that it's a big room and it's hard to hear. This might.
So how the fuck did you hear it?
Hey, Mr. Staples,
I'm gonna answer your question, okay?
Yeah.
Where that microphone is placed is back far away, farther from where you're sitting, right? So it's easier to see where the microphone is, where this camera is, and where it's projecting from. So when you say, how are you singled out? Not everybody in the crowd has made a noise for that specific incident that you're referring to.
That's fine. How about the other video of the live stream right behind my shoulder of my guardian angel that was recording the whole fucking time? Let's get that one up there. Yeah, you don't want to show that one because that's the one, the closest goddamn microphone to me. And there was a reason for that. Because she was protecting me, watching my fucking back to prove you guys wrong in this instance. So let's get it up there. Let's go.
May I respectfully ask you to please cue up a video of the woman
Live stream,
behind
Katrina Stokes.
Yes, sir.
Amen, that yeah sounded a little far away. The amen was louder than the yeah. So I know I didn't even say yeah. Why would I say yeah?
Do you have a question?
My question is, how are you going to see when everybody's down, my head is down, how are you going to see or hear any of that? Did you hear? I didn't hear a yeah come from me. I didn't, it's just crazy, dude. I can't believe you're doing
Is
it.
your question of how I can see you?
My question is, are you 100% sure that I said yeah?
Yes.
It was me. How about the other people that said shouted and shouted? What about them? Why didn't they get arrested? Just me and Therese.
Because we've come to a point where the amount of warnings that were given, Mr. Staples, including the individual one that you had received for the outburst leading up to this point, and then moving forward with this latest outburst right here.
Ooh, this latest outburst right here. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
All right.
What outburst?
All right.
What outburst?
This is not.
There's no fucking outburst. It is cross-examination. Hold on, I got more shit here. So, you were the witness of the amen and everything, and then you ordered Baldassare. All right, let me follow this freaking mess. I was spoken to once. Do you know what I was spoken about? Did you order the person to come speak to me? Did you hear what they said?
I did not hear what they said.
You didn't hear what they said, right, DeLuca? No.
Sir, you asked a question.
He answered it.
Process of answering.
Yeah.
You've got to let the witness.
He answered it. He said no. He didn't hear.
All right, what's your next question?
I'm looking for it. This is a mess here. So, did you go behind the curtain after we were arrested? Or did you stay on this side? After me and Therese were brought behind out of that room, did you go back there for that?
Did I go back behind the curtain for what?
Did you go back there at all afterwards? I'm seeing if you were a witness to anything back
Sure, I went behind the curtain several times throughout the duration of the meeting.
No. Right after Therese and I were tapped on the shoulder and arrested and said, come with us, and brought behind the curtain, did you go back behind the curtain at that point?
While you were back there?
Yes.
I don't remember going back there at that point.
You don't remember going back there at that point?
That's correct.
All right. And we'll have to check some video on that. So you weren't a witness to any of the things that happened back there, Ben? Because if I don't want you to just say, oh yeah, I was back there, now I remember all these things that transpired. Because there was charges here that we're here for that happened behind the curtain.
Sir, will you ask a question?
I'm asking him if so if he can't remember that he went back there, you're not going to just naturally remember things and say, oh, I was there actually all of a sudden?
That's not what I'm saying.
So are you witness to any of the charges that I'm here for today that took place behind the curtain?
Yes.
So you were behind the curtain. Are you kidding me right now?
May I interject?
This is insane.
What's going on here is that I think he was here. So else he's a witness with his ear, not with his eyes.
Right, well, not with his eyes. Right, that's what I'm getting at, dude. So you heard some stuff after the fact, but there's other things that you're not privy to that it doesn't matter. Everyone knows, we know I said shut it down after the fact, so that's not to dispute.
Mr. Staples, ask a question.
And so, did we say, do you attend these things all the time? Are you trained in First Amendment, Bill of Rights, Constitution, state or federal?
All police officers are trained.
You're trained in
Through the police academy, we receive training.
on those things. Then why is there a bill to put it into the Constitution? Because they're not being done yet. You're lying. It's not taught.
I guess I object to the question's relevance to this.
The relevance is that he has qualified immunity because they don't get taught the Constitution. And he don't know what the hell it is. And
Mr. Staples,
do you believe
you have a question?
that the disorderly conduct statute trumps the Constitution in cases where people are practicing their religion and or expressing their displeasure with law enforcement or the government?
I think you're trying to get me to answer an immediate question, and Mr. Staples.
No, I'm not.
We are here to uphold.
Listen, I asked you a fucking question, Rob. Let's go. I don't care. He's gonna answer the question.
Major, you may step down.
No, I'm not done. It doesn't matter, because I'm not even supposed to be here today, and I got the proof, and you're making me do it.
My last witness, Your Honor.
So you lost the other case too.
Lieutenant Rico.
You lost both cases at the same time with this fucking waste of time.
Just for the record, Mr. Staples.
You lost both cases.
I authorized the major to step down because you were
Whatever.
not complying with my requests that you pose questions to the major. And so because
I told you I'm burnt out. I'm disabled. We gotta end this shit, man, and continue it on another day. Okay? It's time for a break. I'm tired. I can't continue this shit anymore. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Take a break.
It's always gonna
Take a
get
break.
continued. I need water. I need
Tell him you
this
need 30
and water.
minutes.
Can I get like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, something? Please. Jesus, my brain is fried.
You have a right to a break.
Yeah, I do, right? Especially after all this time.
Your Honor, I'm at least going to start. I don't know who finished with this witness, but I do want to start because I think there's some important witness evidence that comes in via the video, but I need to lay the foundation. Thank you. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to offer before will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Sir, would you give us your name? Would you spell your last name for our record, and you can sit down?
Vincent Grigio, spelling out the last is G-R-I-E-C-O.
What is your current rank?
Lieutenant.
And where are you currently stationed with respect to the state police?
Recruiting training.
And I guess it's obvious to say you're still with the state police, you're in the state police uniform, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Back on October 13th, 2021, what was your rank at that time?
Sergeant.
Where were you working at that time?
I was assigned to Troop D out of Company Entry.
And on that day, were you deployed to a location of a governor and executive council meeting?
I was.
And were you deployed there pursuant to a plan that had been put in place regarding security at that facility?
That's correct.
Have you been in that facility before?
I have.
Did you go to graduations and things of that nature that occur over there?
Many times.
So you've been in this tactical room, is that right? Okay. So with respect to your duties that day, were you out on the floor walking around?
I was.
And at some point during the meeting, were you able to, were you approached by Lieutenant, or now Lieutenant, but then Staff Sergeant, I'm sorry, and given the order?
I guess I have to stand in here from now on.
What's that?
I'll have to stand in here from now on.
No, I know Chris used to be a dog guy.
Yeah.
And he went to, did he go to Maryland prison, I think? Yeah. I used to see him at he'd stop at the same Exxon that I'd stop at, Exxon.
These Babisotter?
I couldn't remember this guy's name.
Just want to see who's in here.
Lieutenant Baldassare.
Okay. Yeah, he's not allowed to talk to anybody. He's being sequestered.
We were advised to take 2 individuals into custody for disorderly conduct behavior. Met with Sergeant, that was also out on the floor along with me that day. We approached 2 individuals. We asked if they
What sergeant?
Sergeant Greg DeLuca.
And do you know whether or not earlier in that meeting, Sergeant Greg DeLuca had had any actual in-person contact with the defendants you report to them?
Earlier in the meeting, I saw him go over and speak to a group of individuals that were in the building that day. Yes.
All right, and does that include Mr. Staples here today?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Got him. Got him. Were you just talking with the witness about Frank and his record? Because I heard.
You're not allowed to record out here. Please record in there if you're going to record.
Don't touch me.
Then go in there, or you'll be removed from the court. Go on.
No rules.
You cannot record out
yes,
here.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
Yes,
go
I
in
can.
There, please. You cannot. record out
No.
here.
Show me the rule.
I told you what the rules. Go in there.
I read the rules. You haven't read them yet.
Go in there, please.
I just got him talking to a witness about Frank's
Go in
details.
there, please. Or leave. Here you go.
For what? You're wrong.
Man,
actually,
you keep videotaping and you're leaving.
Now, let's clear up your question.
Actually, you were just talking about Frank to a witness, and I'm going to write an affidavit. Unbelievable. Talk about witness tampering going on. Witness tampering, all the way.
More witness tampering going on out there. We have it on video?
I will sign an affidavit for that.
So yeah, I mean, it's still happening, this stuff. The guys getting their stories straight, the bullshit stories.
So, Lieutenant Rico, you said you spoke to Sergeant DeLuca, and you had prior.
The court officers are talking about your record to witnesses.
Okay. Did you address them and tell them what it was you wanted to do?
Yeah, we simply asked if they would speak to us in the rear of the room.
Okay. And did they comply with that request?
They did.
They got up and they walked out with you?
Yes.
Okay. Once you got to an area that was off by the courtroom, can you describe what happened next?
Sure, it was myself, Sergeant.
It's dirty state. Dirty.
Photography's not a crime, bro.
It's dirty. It's very dirty what's going on. I have you witness. I need a name and badge number.
I gave Frank mine.
I'm asking you.
Sergeant Mallet.
And you witnessed the court officers talking to witness. Yes, you did. I have it on audio. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And you lied. You lied. You did. You could hear it.
DeLuca.
Make the accommodations for those setup costs. Because that's what most companies that are private companies do.
So you would rather see their setup cost integrated?
I also want to know how much this is jacked up on above the natural normal level of volume.
We're still doing our best to resolve it. But again, they're bringing something up that didn't even happen with it. To be fair, we don't pay for them up front, we do. If you want our business, come in and do the service. If I may, when we set up a $50 million MMIS system with a lot of upfront hardware, it takes years. We pay for that hardware as they go before they bill us for the management of the system. To be fair, we don't pay for them up front, but as they put in the servers and all this kind of stuff, multi-million dollars, we do pay. So I'm just saying there is a precedent here for especially when you're doing the tech system. They put it in, they send us an invoice, we move on. They put it in, and then we get to the monthly billing for the programmatic fees. I understand that you can do it, you can try to integrate that, but
No, I agree. I think that The impression that we were under during the initial conversation was that the council had a problem with paying money up front before they started the contract. So the way we strategized was that we would have the company pay for those startup fees themselves and invoice them to us either the first.
Okay, we're gonna take a pause here. We're gonna.
So, you just heard on that video, which we're able to see, it appears as though sometime after you led Mr. Staples and Ms. Grinnell out back, that there were some raised voices. Can you describe what happened in the sequence?
Sure. Once Mr. Staples was placed in handcuffs, advised that we were going to be leaving the facility and began walking towards a waiting sheriff's van that had been out in the parking lot. He became obviously upset with that. He became loud and boisterous, directing any vocal animosity he had towards that situation, although only standing a brief distance away next to him at the curtain, if you will, the partition that was separating the two rooms.
So it appeared from your vantage point, he wasn't necessarily directing those comments at you, he was directing them back towards the curtain and back into the room.
No, I didn't feel that he had any anger or discontent towards me, but the situation was screaming at the group that was on the other side of the curtain.
Okay, and you could hear clearly the comments he was making and yelling, correct? And could you hear the governor then say, we're going to pause this meeting or we're going to take a break?
Correct.
Was it your understanding that as a result of what he and or Ms. Grinnell were doing outside and yelling, I mean outside of the curtain, caused the disruption of that governmental meeting?
Correct.
I have nothing further with this witness at this time.
Do you have any inquiry with this?
Yeah, for sure. So, were you a witness to any of the disturbances on this side of the curtain?
At which point in time?
Well, do you know why I was being arrested? And Therese Grinnell, were you told why we're being arrested? Because you didn't witness the actual offense, did you?
Yes, I was aware of why you were being arrested.
You were aware, but were you a witness
To
the conduct?
I could hear the conduct, but I witnessed.
You heard something, but you didn't witness me. You can't. Can you say that it was me? You don't know it was me. It was not.
No, that's correct.
Okay, so you were told it was me that said. What were you told that I was said?
Nothing at that point in time. I was told to take you into custody for disorderly conduct.
Just take us into custody for disorderly. So you didn't even know why exactly. Just get us back there. And so when we got behind the curtain, what did you tell us?
That you were under arrest for disorderly conduct.
Right. And then you put me into handcuffs. Said, and then that's when I started to protest my arrest, saying, "Shut it down! We're being arrested. Fuck this shit." Would you agree that I was upset and I was letting everyone know that we were being arrested?
No, I don't disagree that you were protesting the arrest because the cause or the events leading up to the arrest never came into question or display. It was once you were in handcuffs, you then became irate, directing that towards the crowd.
Correct. Why do you think?
No discussion of the reason for the arrest.
You told us, right, exactly. You told us we were under arrest, so we didn't even know why we were under arrest, correct?
No, we told you it was for
right.
disorderly conduct.
It was just disorderly conduct. We don't know what we did. We're under arrest. So you don't think we would have been upset and shocked about that?
No, again, as I stated, you were advised that you were under arrest for disorderly conduct, but never was there a question of what was that disorderly conduct.
I get that part, but why was I yelling then?
I think that asks.
Well, then he can't speculate either way. If he can't say, if he thinks I didn't do it for a certain reason, he can't say I did it for a certain reason. Come on. He's saying, oh, he said it because he was trying to disrupt something.
No, his testimony was that you directed your outburst towards the curtain.
No shit. Why was I directed? Why do you think I would be directing it towards the curtain?
I think the cultural speculation.
Okay, then why weren't we arrested in front of everybody? Why weren't we arrested in front of everybody?
There were women, there were
were children in the crowd, there was elderly people, there was all different set of people. For two people to try to explain, have a conversation if it was going to happen, and make an arrest in that environment was not conducive towards your safety, our safety, or for the discussion that was taking place in the meeting to continue.
Why not?
Sorry.
Safety.
He
So-
was
okay, keep
responding to
going.
the question.
Which is why we have to have that conversation with the rear of the room, if you will, behind the partition.
So you didn't want the public to see what was going on. So you brought us back behind the curtain and trapped us back there and then said we were arrested for something that you didn't even know what we did.
You know, I would disagree with all of those statements. I don't know what part of that or what question you can ask about that, clarify.
You were, so.
In essence, we weren't trying to trap you, we weren't hiding what we were doing, everything we do is on public display.
No, it wasn't though. You're a liar, because you're totally contradicting what actually happened and what we have on video.
He testified, Mr. Staples. You gotta allow the witness to testify. You not demean.
I told you I'm trying to do this, okay? I already told you, it's time for a break, man. Listen, I wasn't expecting to be here today. I was not prepared for this thing in any way. You wanna force me to continue? Let's go, okay? So, so some of these charges happened behind the curtain.
Correct.
So some of these complaints, which I don't even have in front of me again, I know that they exist. And so what was the offense that took place behind the curtain that you were witness to? Because you were the witness, correct? Baldessari wasn't back there, and Chad LeBoy was not back there, correct?
Correct, as earlier stated, it was myself, Sergeant DeLuca, yourself, and Ms. Grove.
DeLuca, is Greco back there?
That's me, sir.
That's you. Alright, so I told you I have head trauma, man. I have a hard time keeping this shit together. It's not fucking funny. Okay? It's not fucking funny.
What's your next question, sir?
Don't be an asshole. Okay?
Oh, did you just say that to me?
Oh yeah. What are you gonna do? Don't laugh at me, dude, for having a disability. Okay?
I was laughing at you for
You
having
did.
a disability,
You did.
sir.
All right. So, onward.
Your Honor, may I make a suggestion at this point? Because we're almost at 4 o'clock.
Oh, now you want to.
Can I just pause this at this point?
I want to hear what the next question
So you said there was a plan put in place. What was that plan? To watch me and Therese, was part of that plan to watch, to keep a very close eye on me and Therese Grinnell because of the previous executive council meeting?
No, I had no testimony or account of that plan that I spoke of, that the attorney had brought up was when I met with Sergeant DeLuca.
Okay.
To ask you to step to the rear of the partition.
Oh, all right, I was mistaken. So what about the general being there the day of the whole operation? Was that part of it, was to keep an eye on the two of us? Were you aware of that? And, you know,
No, specifically for the team, not the two of you, no, the plan was to allow for the meeting to take place and to address any concerns or disorderly conduct that came up, regardless of that.
so that's good. I'm glad that you just testified to that, because why wasn't anyone else gone and spoken to or arrested for all those outbursts that we've been witnessing in this?
I haven't witnessed that, and I can't speak to what was said or who people were spoken to.
Can we run that back to where afterwards all the murmurings, which the other guy agreed to? Whoops.
Sir, please. I'm going to cut this off at this point. It's 4 o'clock. We need to suspend these proceedings. And we'll resume on March 17th.
I thought we were doing the other thing at that time. That's the thing. So we gotta go down to the clerk right now. Have a nice fucking weekend. See you later. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Judge, I just want to say I'm going to be writing an affidavit saying that your court officers were talking to witnesses and witnesses were talking to witnesses.
Yeah.
So
you're
I'll be
fine
coming back
that
with that.
shit. So just do the right thing, man. Do the right thing. You know what the right thing is. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You know what it is. Don't say anything to me. Don't have a nice day.
Excuse me.
Go home.
Are you going in there?
Fine.
Please, thank
Go
you.
freaking run some fucking fentanyl with these fucking clowns. Get it in, man. You're good. Don't worry about it. Help these guys violate our rights. Continue on with it. Yeah. See you later. No. Have a nice day, sir. I got the last word. Yep. Bye-bye. Adios, amigo.
This whole thing is a circus.
No, it absolutely is.
Yeah, I just got the witness tampering like crazy.
So ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
He's going to do it right now.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to sit.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. I'm just gonna hold it for you, Gail, and then I'm closing it.
You guys are like freaking jackroot, freaking high school jocks that I grew up with too in Nashville. It's funny. It's like I know this dude. I know this dude. I know you guys are fucking bootlicking punks, yo. Fuck around and find out.
I don't blame Miguel.
Bootlicker. Bunch of bootlickers. Yeah, come arrest me now.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Frank, if I had any suggestion right now, I'd leave right now. I'd
Fuck
leave.
around and find the fuck out, yo.
I would leave.
Why ain't I getting arrested now?
No. Don't ask them. Don't ask them. Don't ask her.
Retard.
Frank, I'm guiding you to not get witness tampering, just like because they got witness tampering, okay? They got witness tampering like crazy.
Right. Of course they did.
I'm gonna make you retire, like tomorrow. Tomorrow.
And God's watching. They're all gonna go.
We're gonna talk to the clerk real quick. That's all right.
Yeah, I got all night.
The judge said when you want.
Sorry. Yeah, we're in a crazy world.
See you next week.
Yes, well, I did just check that.
You probably won't have to come next week.
We're closed. If you're not here for our business, you should be out. But I'm not just-
What do you have to say about hitting Teresa Grinnell?
What's that? I said you probably won't have to come next week. You probably won't have to come next week. No. I got plenty of witness tampering, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I will sign an affidavit saying so. Yeah.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. And he's going to have to admit it, even though he said he didn't witness it, but I know you did, so you're going to have to admit it. Yeah, oh yeah. The court officer talking to witnesses.
Oh, talking?
Yeah, about details about Frank.
I don't know what they were talking about. I couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Of course not. You guys never know anything before.
I have it recorded of you being in that little area while it was happening, so.
You need to leave.
He's following
Is
me.
it closed at 4? Closed at 4?
Hey, I talked to you.
Is it closed at 4 for sure? Where does it say that?
Go outside and see if...
Okay, all right, I'll check.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Yeah. Can I get your name and badge number, please?
Sure. Stan Dabrowski.
Stan Dabrowski.
956 is my ID number.
Thank you. And I don't think this place really just closed at 4. Oh yeah, 4 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, 4 o'clock Friday.
He wasn't lying.
Go home, right?
Unlike the rest of y'all. All right, let's see what vehicles y'all get in.
Let's get like a Blizzard Tuesday.
You know, I don't think witnesses should be allowed to open carry into court. It seems a little bit intimidating for the process, don't you think?
Why do they have like 10 state cops here?
Some of them are witnesses, some of them are just friends and colleagues. But if they're in uniform, they're getting paid to be here. So that's a good question, sir.
Would I have to how are the goats going?
We're down to just 3 now.
3 goats.
We sold off all of our
We got 429-3531. That's Babasar's vehicle. I wonder if it's actually officially a police vehicle. It's disingenuous because it's unmarked. Then we got H1717 CH plates. .422 state trooper plates. It's a disingenuous vehicle because it's unmarked on the sides other than the plates. And then 845 is a marked vehicle. Careful now. Hey, that's awfully close. That was absolutely aggressive. I'm filing a complaint against that prosecutor for vehicle intimidation with a deadly weapon. How do you like that? Witnessed, right? You witnessed it?
I saw him right by you.
And you saw him go over the yellow line right there, right? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Do not lie. I'll put you on the lorry list for that. I'll put you on the lorry list. Hey, you got dash cam? I'm going to records request it. Because he was right over these yellow lines and I was standing right here. And you guys are doing nothing about that. That was intimidation with a deadly weapon. And you know he was going too fast in this parking lot, and none of you are swearing by that, are you? Are you? You witnessed it, right?
Oh, I saw it.
You witnessed it, right?
A bunch of toadies for the governor.
You guys are screwed.
Toadies for the governor.
Witnesses are not supposed to be talking to witnesses.
We're not witnesses.
I'm just telling you right now.
You're just the intimidators.
That's why I'm out here recording, to make sure you don't.
Just the intimidators.
Hey, the prosecutor just tried to run me down with his car. I was standing like right here, and he went over the yellow. He went over the yellow line. That's fucking right. God is fucking watching, you people. We're gonna replace you all with good people. Good people.
Bunch of fucking assholes, you know that?
No longer back the green. The green lies. Read your Constitution. Read your Declaration of Independence.
I wasn't trying to laugh at this.
Well, people act like I'm...
511-2089. I hope you got dash cams that witnessed that.
That's why I record, because I'm like this regardless. Yeah. Everywhere I go, whether there's a camera on or not.
I think you're doing a good job. I mean, yeah.
I'm doing my
You're doing
best.
your best.
Hey, but listen, look at this. Dude. I tried to get this to the goddamn,
Hey, you witnessed that guy, the other prosecutor. You witnessed that, and I'm gonna get you making a statement about it. Do you understand that? I will make him get you to do a statement.
So I got this. Date March 10th. Breach of bail.
Try to run me down with his car. The prosecutor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it. There's no